morning, but I think it kicked in last night because I did join the crew of Donnybrook last night. I was on Donnybrook and we were in the green room. We got to talk about that again. And Wendy Weiss asked me twice, "What is in your drink?" Because I had like an iced coffee. I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean? And I think it started kicking in last night. Apparently.
She walked into this office today.
Wound up.
Oh my God.
gosh.
She's been taking swings.
Yeah.
Well, she's wearing a really stupid
She
Dallas
hates my
hat.
Dallas hat.
He's wearing a hat that says Dallas with a
I
skyline
am
of Dallas.
a little surprised to be seeing that. And
Why?
here, I've only heard horrible things about Dallas. Pretty much every city in Texas, I've only heard bad things about.
JR over here. You got Sue Ellen over there.
Megan,
I mean, you know.
He is our representative.
What's wrong with Dallas?
Super progressive.
Yeah.
Why is he? What do you?
Dallas is fine.
Dallas is like the opposite of.
Are you Ted Cruz?
I don't know.
I like this hat.
The colors I can see.
Yeah.
They're nice.
I get a lot of compliments on this.
And
hat.
if you put it in a mirror, you can order your lunch because it says salad.
Oh my God, dude. You know what, Megan? It's just you and me for the next
It's an
hour.
interesting choice, but I'm not angry about
Okay,
it.
you know,
I'm
it's
also
just-
not on steroids, so
You're not angry about it.
The only people that ever said anything negative about my wonderful Dallas cap.
Listen,
You know,
I like it.
they murdered a president in Dallas.
They did?
Yeah, they sure did.
1963, November 22nd.
That's right. So what is this, the 60th anniversary?
It will be.
It will be coming up here.
Hmm.
You want to talk some politics?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Well, we're going.
Steve said we have to.
We're
right,
going
fine.
to when we come back. John Hancock, Megan McBride. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 11:20 a.m. further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
After years of hearing the commercials on KMOX, I decided to finally make an appointment with Ophthalmology Associates. You know the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Busati, and Dr. Andy Royer. Well, I'd been hearing about dry eye, and I knew that I had dry eyes. Dr. Ranjan Malhotra told me that it's not just an irritating problem, it's actually irritating my eyes, and that it's so important to have dry eye addressed because it can actually scratch your cornea, cause greater damage, lead you to believe that your vision is getting worse. Turns out I don't need new glasses. I just need to address the dry eye situation. You should definitely check out Ophthalmology Associates. They are experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, just a half-mile west of 270 eastbound on Manchester. Ophthalmology Associates. youridoc.com.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey. And when I make a recommendation, you can be sure that I've done my homework and I only promote the best. So when it comes to real estate, I only recommend one realtor, and that is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been recommending Gloria for years now. I've met her clients, I've seen her systems, and she's the only agent I would trust to sell my home. Gloria Liu's proven track record for selling hundreds of homes this year alone should give you the confidence that she will help you sell for the most money, or the fact that Gloria already has the buyers. Buyers looking to buy right now. That's why Gloria will actually guarantee in writing to sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or you can find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Lombardo Homes is excited about the new opportunities blooming this spring. New communities, new home sites, and even a plethora of new lifestyle-friendly floor plans. Ask about new home sites at the streets of Caledonia and Amberley in O'Fallon. And check out Lombardo's newest community, the Boulevard at Wilmer in Wentzville, on Saturday, April 15th, where they will also debut their new Parkside series of homes. Lombardo Homes is known for their customization and transparency in home building, while ensuring an elevated customer experience. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Don Chamberlain, best-selling author from right here in the St. Louis area. And I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It can potentially give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your principal is is never at risk from market declines. Even people who are currently on track have shifted money to this strategy because it could increase their retirement income or may allow them to stop working years sooner than they expected. So if you're over 50 and want to learn how you could potentially get bigger retirement with less money, call and get the free copy of this brand new movie. That's a $30 value. But when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. I'll even cover the shipping and handling. No credit card required. 1-800-807-3838. That's 800-807-3838. 1-800-807-3838.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things, as we count down to Earth Day. Just 15 days to go. Make sure you keep the tires on your car inflated to the correct pressure. Also, remove any heavy items like golf clubs that you may be keeping in your trunk. You'll get better gas mileage and help the environment. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Nearly a century of informing, entertaining, and serving St. Louis. KMOX.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX today. It is Friday. We do have a draft coming up at 11 o'clock. We are joined by John Hancock and Megan McBride. They are in with us for this 10 o'clock hour. And yesterday, we got the official word that Jay Ashcroft, he is the Secretary of State. His father, as you know, once was a prominent politician here in the city or in the state, and he is going to run for governor in 2024. I don't know, that really isn't a surprise for anybody, but his candidacy, we'll start with you, John.
Well, so, in the interest of full disclosure, I am employed by the campaign of Mike Kehoe for governor, the lieutenant governor. So I've got a dog in this fight. So I don't know that it's appropriate for me to say much other than Jay Ashcroft is the Secretary of State. It was expected that he would run for governor. There's going to be a spirited Republican primary in August of 2022. And then in all likelihood, the winner of that primary is going to be the next governor of Missouri.
Okay, I have a question. In his statement, Ashcroft said Missouri, quote, stands at a crossroad. He said red states like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, even Indiana and Arkansas have become examples of conservative leadership, while Missouri Republicans, who control every statewide office and have supermajorities in both chambers of the legislature, have failed to deliver. He said, quote, I'm running to change that. I don't know what he means.
I'm concerned what planet he might be living on. I'm concerned that we all now want to be like Arkansas. Have we checked the rankings on quality of life there lately, Mr. Ashcroft? Like, no. You're confused.
Arkansas
Go
not
home.
A bad place.
But what's and
I mean, not if you care about education or healthcare or any of these things that really impact our quality of life.
The money
general,
they plowed into that place.
Race to the bottom. I mean, what are we doing?
I guess my question is, as a historic Republican, I don't know what he means that we're at a crossroads. Is it like between MAGA Republicans and regular Republicans?
It is his brand of crazy has not gotten enough power yet. That is the crossroads he believes we are at.
Well, there's an interesting political dynamic here, and I can speak to that. Also in this race is State Senator Bill Eigel, who is, look, all three of these candidates are conservatives. Jay Ashcroft, Mike Kehoe, Bill Eigel, they're all conservative. So it becomes increasingly difficult, I think, in states that are predominantly Republican for candidates in primaries to distinguish themselves from one another. And it's become a struggle. And the tendency is to run to the flanks. If you think of political ideology as a football field, all right, most people live between the 35-yard lines. Some a little to the right of the 50, some a little to the left. That's where most people are. Most people who vote in primary elections are from the 5-yard line into the end zone. And so that becomes the group of voters for whom you need to appeal. And you know that in a state like Missouri, procuring a Republican nomination, in all likelihood, will get you elected in November. So as the state has over time become increasingly red, I don't think it will always be that way, but that's certainly where it is now.
So what you're saying, we need to gear up for a lot of commercials with various guns, cowboy boots, people pretending they're farmers who really have no idea what they're talking about.
Well,
that's where we're headed.
I just think it's frustrating because you look at the GOP and they have to outright the other, like be further to the right than the other. You have Bill Eigel, who introduced a bill that would be an anti-red flag law bill in the state of Missouri. So if there were any federal red flag laws, they could not be enforced in the state of Missouri. And as if that is a symbol, illustrative of just how conservative he is, when you look at a state like Florida, which has a very red legislature, obviously it is moving even further right under Governor Ron DeSantis. But before that, Governor Scott, they passed red flag laws in Florida after Parkland, a very red state, which people have seen as the beacon of conservatism in the state of Florida. They passed red flag laws and critically, they enforced them over 8,000 times since Parkland. It's still a very free state. They have perhaps saved multiple lives and people can still have their guns in Florida. That makes so much sense. I don't understand how here in Missouri, in order for the Republicans to stand out, they have to become more and more fringe.
Well, let me ask this question. People typically, when you talk to the average person, they say, I want more moderate. I want more moderation. I don't want all these extremes. The extremes on both sides are a problem. Okay, well, if you win a primary, or the only way to win a primary is to be inside the 35-yard line or near the end zone, if that's the only way to win, how do you effectively govern once you've won? Because then you got to appeal to the middle, but then you're going to upset the people who voted you in the first place. So then how do you effectively
I'll tell you
govern?
a great example of that that we've lived through just very recently is Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. She was a progressive. She gets elected by the progressives. And once she takes office, somehow she's not progressive enough. And so you have this recall effort that the folks on the left initiated. And it is true, Chris, that the base that selects folks in primaries often gets disappointed by the results of governing, because governing doesn't take place in the extremes unless there is an extreme circumstance, like there's a supermajority of very conservative legislators in Missouri, and we're not there yet. Or conversely, there's now a majority of progressives on the Board of Aldermen with a progressive mayor and a progressive prosecutor and a progressive president of the Board of Aldermen. We might see some out there policies come out of that system. But by and large, governing takes place between the 40-yard lines. And so as a result, the folks at the end, the most conservative, the most liberal, are often disappointed at the output of government.
Well, more importantly, governing and politicking and campaigning are not the same thing. They're not even remotely the same thing. You don't have the same audience. The things you talk about in a campaign are most likely to never, ever happen in governing. So that's what's really frustrating for me as someone who's on the campaign side, is this idea that the public has been convinced that what you hear in a campaign is somehow going to always be a reality. And it's just not true. Like in the city, for instance, government is a beast. Okay. Our government structure is antiquated. It's massive. The amount of bureaucracy we have for the city of our size and the things we're supposed to do, it isn't working. It's broken. No amount of campaigning is going to fix that. But people who run for office have convinced the voters that they're getting that small percent that they will fix it. But we all know that's not true.
Yeah, and I've
right. So people get set up for disappointment. Government becomes stagnant. It doesn't actually do anything. And that is where we are both as a state and locally.
Yeah, and I've noticed over the years that the skill set to win an election, to be a good candidate, and the skill set to be a good policymaker really have not a lot to do in common with one another. And as a result, you get some folks in Washington that are really good lawmakers. And I'm thinking about a guy like John Thune, who's the number 2 Senate Republican from South Dakota. He's a very good lawmaker, not the greatest candidate, however. And it's a rare breed that is really good at both.
What about like a Senator Blunt? Former Senator Blunt.
Yeah, and Roy was certainly his strength was on the policy side, but he wasn't a bad campaigner. He was a very like on steroids. I mean, he would go everywhere in the state. He'd hit all 114 counties and he was a relentless campaigner that way. But he was, if you had to put him on the scale, he was a much better policymaker than he was a politician.
What about on the Democratic side? Would you say like a Claire McCaskill was good at both?
Obviously, I thought she was great at both. I thought she did a really good job as kind of a spokesperson for Democrats in Missouri. And I thought she was an effective legislator. But again, those two things started diverging, right? Being a good representative for your state in Washington, D.C. was no longer the most important thing in getting elected, right? The most important thing was, how much do you love your gun? How much are you going to be more like Josh Hawley? And that's why we saw him walk away with it. The culture has shifted in Missouri, certainly. So that explains it as well. But she was a great senator, and we said goodbye to her, right? It's a brain drain, really, eventually. All of the far left or far right partisan politics really is going to slowly have us lose the people who have common sense, who have deep knowledge, who are in the middle, who know how to get things
maybe
done.
We already have lost those people because they're not voting in primary elections. And so much of what we are struggling with in our geopolitical problems in America would be would be addressed, if not solved, if we simply had better, bigger participation in primaries. It would change the messaging of the campaigns. It would change everything. And I think would probably elevate the caliber of the candidates that we have to choose from in November.
Will there be a point where people are more motivated to do it, to get out for a primary? Because we know it's just not sexy enough for a lot of people. And really, midterms typically aren't that sexy enough for people.
Right.
They wait until the presidential. They do it every 4 years. I think maybe more people the last 4 or 8 years or so have participated in midterms than they used to, but still it's not enough.
I think the gun issue is finally the very slow walk towards an awareness among a broader voting population that there is a serious problem, and that it can come get any of us at any time. No one is immune from this problem. We've seen that over and over and over again. And I think that very slow awakening and understanding is going to change people who decide to vote, particularly in the suburbs.
Something pertaining to that happened in the Tennessee State House yesterday. We will talk about that with John Hancock and Megan McBride. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji coming back in a moment after the news on KMOX.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
An important message from SNL Coins. SNL Coins pays top dollar. We buy neon signs, sports memorabilia, Breweriana, silver plate, fine gold filled, antiques, and collectibles. Get a quote with a call to SNL at 544-3600 or visit SNL, 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Before you sell, call SNL, 544-3600.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
When you send your kid to school, no parent wants to be overwhelmed with stress, and Miriam could be the solution. At least it was for Lynn.
Of a child that learns differently can be extremely stressful. But at the Miriam School, you don't have to worry about those things. The teachers are such experts. There's so many resources to ensure that your child is successful.
Every child deserves to feel like they have an individualized program for them to be successful. Get info for your kiddo at miriamstl.org.
A wish can be the spark that helps children fighting critical illnesses believe that anything is possible. A wish can also transform the lives of children, their families, volunteers, supporters, and entire communities. You too can experience the profound impact of a wish by joining the Make-A-Wish Foundation for the Walk for Wishes, presented by Centene and Spectrum on April 8th in Forest Park. Register today at walkforwishesstl.com. Then join us as we walk so local children can receive the gift of a wish.
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Pavarotti.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
At 10:30, 63 degrees. We're on our way up to about 63 degrees for today. We'll get that current temp in just a moment. In the news, Republican legislators in Kansas have approved a proposal to end gender-affirming care for transgender youth. The bill requires the state's medical board to revoke the licenses of doctors who provide gender-affirming care to minors. The governor is expected to veto it. A new rule proposed by the Biden administration would prevent schools and colleges from enacting outright bans on transgender athletes, but it would also allow certain exceptions to promote fairness or reduce injuries. If finalized, it would become enshrined as a provision of Title IX. America's employers added 236,000 jobs in March, suggesting that the economy remains on a solid footing despite the 9 interest rate hikes the Federal Reserve has imposed over the past year. In its drive to tame inflation, the unemployment rate fell to 3.5%. Looking at area roadways, looks pretty clear right now as you're heading up 270 towards 70. No other problems to report right now. Your weather for today on our way up into the 60s. Tomorrow will be about the same, 75 expected on Easter Sunday. Right now, we're in the 50s in Florissant and in St. Peter's and downtown at the Arch. I'm Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Refresh your space with new floors by Champion Floor Company. They offer ceramic, vinyl, carpet, and even natural wood floors that are sanded and finished. Schedule a free estimate at championfloor.com. Champion Floor, delivering excellence every day.
Behind every great fortune lies a great crime. But what poisonous secret lies under one of the nation's most prestigious universities? Uncover the crime at the heart of Stanford University and the new true crime series, Bitter Academia.
After a while, Jade Stanford learns that when this much money is at stake, you cannot really trust anyone.
Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Old Town Donuts, ranked the best donuts in Missouri, will be open Easter Sunday, 24 hours. Fun donuts with bunny faces and birds' nests. Get a dozen for less than $10 with a coupon from the Old Town Donuts Facebook page.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Katie Collier, owner of Katie's Pizza, turned a Kickstarter campaign into a pizza legacy. She shares her story on our latest podcast, PNC C-Speak, the language of executives. During COVID, Katie's Pizza continued to beat the odds, creating a thriving frozen food business and now working on a third location. PNC C-Speak shares the stories and innovative approaches of successful business leaders to give you ideas that spark growth in your business. Listen today at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
What defines us is who we are as a collective group and how we progress and gain momentum through the season.
The Coach's Corner with St. Louis City coach Bradley Carnell. Mondays at 9:35 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
You're listening to KMOX. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. John Hancock and Megan McBride are in, and Amy is just so damn wrong. But it's okay. We're going to move on to this thing.
Ridiculous.
No, Amy's wrong during the break, as she usually is. All right, so let's talk about what happened in the Tennessee State House yesterday. We know that a couple of days ago there was a protest. People there have been a lot of protesters and people have been clamoring for some sort of movement on gun violence. And the Tennessee legislature is not interested in doing that. There were protests at the State House, and a couple of representatives got involved in the protests. The legislature yesterday, there were 3 of those representatives. 2 of them were expelled. The legislature voted to expel them because of a breaking of decorum, is what they said. Then this is the reality. 2 of the people who were expelled are black. The third person is white. Her job was saved. It's interesting that Jay Ashcroft said what he did yesterday, that he wanted us to be more like Tennessee. I think, for me personally, what happened there yesterday is really a travesty. And I don't want Missouri to be like that. I don't want us to be the kind of place that when there's a difference of opinion, we expel those people from the legislature. That's not what we should be. And I know that's not necessarily what he meant, but maybe it is. I don't know. But it was just really poor timing on that part. But you saw what happened in Tennessee, in the legislature yesterday. What were your thoughts? And Megan, we can start with you.
Yeah, I mean, John and I talked about it a bit earlier. I think it was a massive mistake for these Republicans to meet what is, okay, sure, they broke protocol, right? You didn't follow the fine print of how you're supposed to behave on the floor of their house. But to react with such an extreme maneuver and to allow there to be such a clear distinction in how all 3 were treated, with one ultimately being saved, it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire huge. We are seeing nationally, people in the suburbs are waking up. They're realizing that their decades and decades of support for Republicans are not producing the results that they want, which is ultimately to know that their children are safe when they send them to school. That is universal. Everybody wants that. Everyone deserves that. To treat 2 young legislators with that response, who are really just speaking the truth that most Americans hold, right? That is a pretty general agreement. We need to do something about guns. You're just empowering them. These 2 men are going to be right back to be nominated to be in their positions. They're going to get voted right back in, probably with more vigor than they originally were elected, right? They're just going to come right back there. You've empowered them. You've proven that you're childish in your ability to handle disagreement, as you pointed out. And I don't think politically it's going to really help them in the long run.
So the optics of this couldn't be worse. You've got 3 protesters among your membership, and you kick out the 2 African-American protesters, and the white female is retained by 1 vote. They almost kicked her out. And they politically, if they were going to do this, they should have vote counted and made sure they got rid of all 3. The optics are bad. I've got a little bit of a different take on this. And I'm an institutionalist. I love our institutions of government. I love our system of government. I love the structure of the government. I served in the state legislature, many, many moons. When I had hair, I was in the state legislature. That's how long ago that was. And there are procedures and processes in place that allow that body to function. And what happened the other day in Tennessee is that you had all these protesters in the building, 3 elected legislators. They were doing the business on the floor of the House. They interrupted that with bullhorns, started chanting and getting the protesters riled up, and they disrupted the proceedings of the State House. And if that's okay, then it's going to happen all over the country. And pro-life activists are going to go up to Albany, New York, and disrupt the legislative process there. There are reasons why we have systems in place and rules in place so that these institutions can function. So what they did was wrong. What those legislators did was wrong. Now, should they have been expelled? I don't think so. To Megan's point, they're just going to come right back. You're not really doing anything there. And there were other actions that the leadership of the House could have taken that would have been more appropriate. They already had stripped them of their committee assignments. They did that the day after the protest. They could have then censured them and passed a formal censure and let folks know that this is not acceptable behavior, because you know what? It's not. It wasn't acceptable and now this had no violence. There was no violence here. This wasn't January 6th. It wasn't an insurrection, but it was a disruption of the people's business. And that also happened on January 6th. It was a disruption of the people's business. And our institutions can't function if this becomes a commonplace occurrence. So it's a bigger deal than I think a lot of folks in the media are making it. The response to it, I think, is an overreaction.
If the people's business, and it sounds like the people in Tennessee, or at least those people, and I would imagine a majority, because we've talked about any sort of reasonable gun measures, they are overwhelmingly popular even with gun owners. This is across the country. I would imagine the people's business is they want something to happen in that regard, but the Tennessee legislature is not acting to do it. So
I got no problem with people protesting about the government. I would have a problem if protesters were disruptive in the galleries, and when that happens in Missouri, and it has, they are escorted out by the sergeant at arms and security. They're taken out of there. If you want to stand outside of the building and protest, absolutely protest and let your voice be heard. But when you then disrupt the actual functioning of the government, if folks showed up at the revenue office and started disrupting things so that the IRS couldn't, audit everybody.
Sure.
I mean, we don't. My point is, we have lost respect for the institutions of this country. Part of that is Donald Trump's fault. But we've lost respect for the institutions in this country, and that is not good for the health of the republic.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with, if people are disrupting proceedings, you do what you have to do, remove people from the floor. We're talking about expulsion, though.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the problem, is that these people were taken away from their jobs because of it. And, like you said, they're going to get voted right back in anyway. It feels like this, whether it's an immediate backfire or a 5 years down the road backfire, it seems like it will backfire on the Tennessee legislature.
It's such a lack of awareness on behalf of the Republican majority in Tennessee rules are rules, that's fine, but open up your eyes, look around you, and realize what's going on, right, in your community and your state. What are people trying to tell you? They're trying to tell you that you're failing them, right? So you can cling to the rules, you can bury your head in the sand and pretend this isn't really about the issue, it's about your behavior. That's not the case. That's not ever going to be the case. This problem is not going away. It's just simply not going to go away. And I think there was a big awakening for people probably in that area in Tennessee. Oh my gosh, this happened in our private school. It happened in our rich neighborhood where we thought we were safe, and you're not safe. No one is, right? This can happen anywhere. It happened down the street from my house earlier this year. It can happen anywhere. And the Republicans in general who want to pretend that's not the reality are going to face a reckoning. They just are.
This, going back to what you said, John, about being an institutionalist and how the cornerstones of our democratic institutions, if they're no longer respected, our democracy can't function. And perhaps no other time were they disrespected more, where they threatened more than on January 6th. The peaceful transfer of power has been the cornerstone of American democracy. Donald Trump, his most ardent supporters, trying to stop that constitutional process was a huge threat. The writer now at the New York Times, David French, he quoted the Yeats poem, The Second Coming, how things fall apart, the center cannot hold. And he said, on that day, things fell apart, but the center held. It barely held. And a linchpin was, of all people, Mike Pence. On that day, in that moment, he stood in the gap. But as you continue to see trust in our institutions erode, you saw, like you said, the process in Tennessee, that being hampered by disruptions. We even saw the Supreme Court, less and less faith in the integrity of the Supreme Court. We saw the leak in the Dobbs decision before that came down. How many punctures can our institutions hold before things are truly at a crisis?
I think we're very close to being there. And I don't know I wish I had the answer. But and I will say, as it relates to the Tennessee thing, just because I've lived it, there is no more insular cave that exists in the world than a state legislative capitol building during the legislative session. I mean, you talk about being impervious to anything that's happening outside of that building.
Yeah,
and it's clearly the leadership there didn't sit down and consider thoughtfully what they were about to do, because there would be, I'm sure, universal agreement that there needed to be some disciplinary action taken against those members because they violated the rules of the House. That's a big deal. But they clearly weren't thinking through the public relations implications and the various things. This could have been handled so much better. But again, that building during a legislative session is like they have no concept of what's going on outside of those walls. It's really a kind of a crazy place.
That is really interesting. And I wonder how we I mean, I think about this all the time, like how people generally view our institutions. It seems like it's worse and that we have less respect for them generally, but it's not like there haven't been instances of things happening over the years prior. I mean, there was a Supreme Court leak 11 years ago with the John Roberts decision. On the Affordable Care Act. Like that report came out a few days before they actually made the decision. So it's not like this isn't anything new.
I think it's a slow burn of the public in general coming to the realization that these systems aren't working for me in the way I was told they were going to, right? So there's two factors at play. You have Donald Trump, who's utilizing that dissatisfaction by the public, but for his own personal gain, right? He's taken that populist feeling and made it all about him, as we all know he does and will continue to do. But aside from him, when you set him aside, the reason people are lacking trust in these institutions is legitimate. There are really legitimate reasons to be frustrated with government, to feel the government is not serving you. It's not behaving in the way you wanted it to. You are telling your elected officials that these are the things that matter and you are being ignored. So that is why people stop participating. They stop paying attention. They don't believe that their voice is heard. And so that is going to happen over time. And none of us can be surprised by it. The only thing that's going to change it is to transfer some accountability to these institutions. The institutions have an obligation to prove to people that they are worthy of functioning with integrity and that they're capable of doing so. And that's just not happening where we are in American culture.
Well, I think we solved the problem.
Right.
Well, we've identified the problem.
Oh, no. Oh, that's
okay,
the problem.
I can go. I'll go now.
All right. So we've done it. I feel like we could be in a much better place. And everybody has, I shouldn't say everybody's issues are valid because there are some that are just really stupid. But most people do have difficulty in life for various reasons. I think our issue is that we don't always have we don't always have the correct reason that things are difficult. I think sometimes we blame the wrong thing for why our lives are tougher than they should be.
Well, and we're a very self-involved society. We all mostly see things from our perspective. We're concerned about how we're treated, what happens to us in the world, what's our issue. We're selfish people. I mean, that's just the way it's kind of always been. And
the human condition.
When there's more of us, we're more diverse, there's more issues, there's technology to tell us about these things all the time. Like, it's not a surprise that this is the crossroads we've come to, but there will have to be a point where we decide, what's more important, the individual or us going on as we've always thought we should, which is as a diverse country takes care of a lot of interests.
The fact that we are selfish people, though, is why capitalism is the best form of economics in the world, because it's based on the acceptance that people are going to go pursue their self-interest, and that is good for the whole.
And I will say yes, we're selfish, and we always have been selfish. That's why capitalism works. But we are also becoming increasingly unserious. And I think we're unserious because we have had it pretty darn good in this country for a long time. We have the luxury of being unserious. And
a lot of people have had it really well.
That's where these
A lot of people have not, though.
Yeah, but that's why we do have the luxury to get all up in arms and make our headline news that a random school in San Francisco or in Florida is taking out a random book out of their grade school library. That's an unserious people.
I don't know if it is. I think that if you have one parent who can object to one book and then, it's out of the library because this one person decided they don't like it, I think that's a problem.
National news.
Yeah, I think that's a problem, though. I think when we start to go down that road of, we can't have this book anymore because a person...
Because somebody's feelings got hurt?
Yeah.
Who's a snowflake now?
Oh.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with him. I'm saying these parents should not be able to complain. But then teach your kid at home and figure it out. Don't punish the rest of us.
Who goes to the school library anyway? I never one time went to the school library on my own.
So I'm throwing, as someone who taught writing and literature, I'm throwing this at everybody who is losing their minds about, The Bluest Eye or the Bible. I've read headlines about both of those books needing to be removed from the school library. It's like books, if we're arguing about burning books or throwing books out of a library, We're an unserious
Well,
people.
and really, it's just
Keep
a
the books.
distraction,
Yeah.
right? It's all a distraction from a bigger issue. And I will keep saying it. I know a lot of Democrats will keep saying it. The bigger issue is guns. It's going to continue to be guns, and people are going to make up other topics to distract from it.
Am I the only one in the room that's actually used a card catalog at the library?
Well,
Probably.
I just have to say
I don't even know
this.
what that means.
Megan, are you telling me that the biggest problem in this country is that kids are reading too much? Is that what's wrong
That'd
with
be
our
great.
country?
All right, you guys have to go.
We gotta go, and we gotta
go play snooker.
You gotta. No,
Listen,
we're not playing.
I do
snooker
not
today.
play snooker. No, I do not.
She doesn't have.
I
time
can
for
do
that
a lot
nonsense.
of things Michael Kelly does, but
We
that is
gotta
not
do
one.
what's everybody talking about coming up after
Yes.
the break.
What did you see this?
Right.
John Hancock, Megan McBride. Thanks for hanging out. Amy and Chris back in a moment on KMOX.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
If you've fallen out of love with your home, maybe you just need a refresh. Contact CertaPro Painters and we'll put the power of pro to work for you. That's CertaPro's power to transform living rooms and rejuvenate kitchens. The power to get the job done right, on time, and within your budget. Get that lovin' feeling back with the help of CertaPro Painters. Start your project at CertaPro.com. The power of pro. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji here.
Join us Tuesday, April 18th at the Center of Creative Arts as KMOX presents a conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett.
Major will be there to sign his new book, The Big Truth.
You can pre-purchase your copy at Left Bank Books or the night of the event.
A conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, Tuesday, April 18th. The event is free. You do need to reserve your spot, though. For more information and reservations, KMOX.com/events.
When do you need to see an ophthalmologist? Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Now, that's a good question. If your vision is blurry, you notice dark spots in the middle of your field of vision, you're seeing flashes or new floaters, if you have difficulty seeing distances, if there's a sharp pain in one eye along with vision changes, or if you have trouble driving because of glare, these are all good reasons to make your appointment with the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 and youridoc.com. And if your eyes are itchy and scratchy, that might be more than allergies. The doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Andrew Royer, and Robert Brusati are also leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. I've been a patient of theirs for about 25 years. In Sullivan, St. Peter's, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000 and youridoc.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
You have more control over how much you pay in taxes when you retire than at any other time in your life. Don't miss Your Retirement Professors, Saturday afternoons at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
Prepare an emergency kit, sign up for local alerts, and make a family communications plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Now, more of the show.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Amy, this is I don't know how often something like this happens, but it's an incredible story.
Okay.
There is a family in Michigan, a married couple, who has welcomed a child into their home, and it is their first daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Not that big of a deal, right?
Well, I mean, it's congratulations to
Congratulations.
them, but a lot of people have kids.
There's nothing noteworthy about that, with the exception of this guy, his family has not had a female born into the family since 1885.
Wait, what?
They have not, he and his immediate family, the people that he, his family members.
Yep.
Have not had a female born into it's all been boys. Every child that has been born in that family, in his lineage, have been boys going back over 100 years, almost 150 years.
State is this?
This is in Michigan.
In Michigan. And this family, this lineage, this is all in Michigan that the girls weren't born?
Yeah. Yeah. And then finally had a daughter, and they were absolutely stunned because he just assumed it was going to be a boy.
That is really surprising.
Isn't that unbelievable? There is one
weird.
tragedy in this story, though.
Oh.
They had a gender reveal party.
Oh my gosh.
It was the worst.
Don't do those.
Don't ever do it.
Just say it's a baby.
My buddy had one. They sent out an invitation.
Yeah.
He clicked on the invitation and said, "It's a boy. Have a nice Saturday." Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. Draft time next on KMOX.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. As you know, we are the best in the city at cleaning carpets, area rugs, upholstery. We are also great at cleaning your air ducts. It's National Pet Month. I am the owner of pets. I love dogs. I love cats. I love my old guinea pig. But they bring along some nastiness, right? We all do. It's not just the pets. But they bring along pet dander and hair and dead skin cells. And every now and then they don't make it outside to go to the bathroom or into the kitty litter. So you need to clean those carpets. Keep it nice and fresh for you, for the family, for the pets themselves. The average family home takes on 40 pounds of dust in a year. That's crazy. So in addition to the pets, you have all that stuff going on. Get your air ducts cleaned by Zero Res. $129 for 3 rooms of carpeting. $75 off your air ducts. 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Make sure you mention the DGS special.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Don Chamberlain, best-selling author from right here in the St. Louis area. And I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It can potentially give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your principal is never at risk from market declines. Even people who are currently on track have shifted money to this strategy because it could increase their retirement income or may allow them to stop working years sooner than they expected. So if you're over 50 and want to learn how you could potentially get bigger retirement with less money, call and get the free copy of this brand new movie. That's a $30 value. But when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. I'll even cover the shipping and handling. No credit card required. 1-800-807-3838. That's 800-807-3838. 1-800-807-3838.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got clouds and 52 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour is just in. Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich has formally been charged with spying in Russia, and he has entered a denial. Recently hospitalized Pope Francis won't go to Rome's Colosseum for the traditional Good Friday Way of the Cross procession, but instead will watch it from his home at the Vatican due to cold nighttime temperatures in Rome.
The 86-year-old Pope was discharged from a Rome hospital on April 1 after spending 3 days there receiving antibiotic treatment for bronchitis. The Vatican said at the time that he would carry out the complete Holy Week schedule, including the Way of the Cross procession and the Mass in St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday. Francis is still planning to attend an evening prayer service at St. Peter's Basilica to mark Good Friday, which recalls the death of Jesus by crucifixion. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Tennessee GOP lawmakers expelled 2 of 3 Democratic members over their participation in gun control demonstrations following the Nashville school shooting. Senate Minority Leader Ramesh Akbari says what happened should not be taken lightly.
We all saw what happened yesterday. 2 extremely intelligent, eloquent, community-centered Black men were removed from the House of Representatives.
With both Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe and Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft already formally announced as candidates for Missouri governor in 2024, could the race get even more crowded? State Senator Bill Eigel told Odyssey Station 97.1 that he's raising money and rounding up volunteers for his potential run.
It's not going to be long until we're formally in this race as well, because we're meeting all the metrics that we set for ourselves to make a formal decision to be the next leader of the state of Missouri.
Eigel represents large portions of St. Charles County in the Missouri legislature and started running attack ads against Kehoe and Mike Ashcroft on social media in February. GM is recalling 300 self-driving cars to update their software following a crash in San Francisco.
The vehicle, part of a GM self-driving fleet, ran into the back of a San Francisco bus.
It's hard to miss a bus. It's a fairly large object.
No injuries, but Guidehouse Insights analyst Sam Abul-Samad says the vehicle didn't understand that an articulated bus moves differently. He says this shows how hard it is to anticipate everything that can happen in traffic. GM says they're committed to safety and to constant improvement. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
The KMOX Business Desk. Curbside pickup is all the rage nationally, but it hasn't caught on as much with St. Louis shoppers, say the 2 major grocers in town. Todd Schnook tells KMOX people want it brought right to their door.
Right now, delivery is bigger. Pickup at the store is growing. You know, we have just introduced our Schnooks Now, where it's 30 minutes, delivery within 30 minutes. We've got some other things coming down the road in terms of delivery that we're pretty excited about.
Greg Dierberg tells us the same, that delivery is outpacing curbside. Dierberg's recently launched delivery by DoorDash in addition to Shipt. The Dow from Stifel's up 2 points to 33,485. We've got emergency vehicles on 6440 going east at Mason. The right lane is closed, and some moving road work on 364 east at Route K. The left lane is blocked.
KMOX AccuWeather, sun and some clouds, milder this afternoon, high 60 to 64. And then tonight, mainly clear, a little less cold, low near 40. Beautiful sunshine tomorrow, high 66. We're up to near 70 for Easter Sunday and low to mid 70s for Monday and Tuesday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Ian DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
52 in Florissant, 51 St. Peters, 52 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info@cardinals.com. The show and the draft.
The draft.
Building the perfect team.
I love the draft.
It's the draft
More draft.
on the show.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on the show on KMOX. It is Draft Friday. My word, it's already... This week has just flown by.
Has it?
I think so. Doesn't it feel like it's flown by to you?
Well, and I had a short week, and I
And it
feel,
feels
like I
long?
feel like I barely made it.
Do you know what the problem is? It's because you've got that... what do you call it?
Tonsillitis?
Yes, your
Yeah.
tonsillitis.
And the steroids didn't kick in until this morning.
And you have been on one today.
You know what? Guys, you wouldn't believe, I have no roid rage towards anybody except for Ranji.
It's unbelievable.
Like, I'm so mad at him right now. I hate his hat. I think he's wrong during every commercial break. His arguments are stupid. I threw pens at him. It's really weird. It's like very pinpointed roid rage.
You are extremely abusive.
I think what it is it's pent up because I'm a nice person and you're insufferable.
Oh, yeah, that's what it
for
is.
years. I've known you for years.
That's what it is.
So we're doing the draft because we made it to Friday. I barely made it. Ranj skated through the week.
Here's what skated through the week. Dealing with you is not skating. Yeah, it's like skating without the blade on. You know, you've seen those hockey players when the blade falls off.
Or they leave the blade cover on and they step out on the
that's
ice.
what it feels like working with you. Okay, we are. Here's what we decided to do, and yeah, we know this is stupid, but we don't care. Today's draft.
Yeah.
What?
Can I say something?
Hey.
You mentioned a hockey blade.
Yeah.
A hockey skate. So guess what?
I don't know.
I used to play hockey with this guy named Dean. And he just said, how about a shout out for Westminster alum Cole McWard for his NHL debut last night with the Vancouver Canucks. Way to go, Cole. With the Canucks. That was the hockey tie-in. Now we can do the draft. But thank you, Dean, for the update.
I feel like that was a real stretch, but congratulations to that fella you just mentioned.
Hey, we got another St. Louis.
Can we do the draft now,
the
please?
hockey capital of the world.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, we're the soccer capital of America.
Oh,
we're
that's
not the
right.
hockey capital of the world. I assure you.
It's like us in Finland.
I think it's somewhere in Canada. All right, draft time.
Yep. Can
It's
we
a-
explain why we picked the draft we did?
That's what I was about to do, but you have to talk about hockey players.
Yeah.
So here's what we decided. The former president of the United States has been indicted by a grand jury.
A grand jury.
And so,
And
what?
one of our final four sandwich places.
Oh, yeah. One of our final four in the Sandwich Madness tournament that we conducted that
Yeah.
people got mad about
Yeah.
was Legrand's.
Legrand's. That was in the
So-
sandwich scandal.
The Sandwich Scandal. What we decided to do, and this is great, I think. We are drafting grand things.
Yeah.
So we're drafting things with the word grand in them.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Because of grand jury, Legrand's, and I
Okay,
thought,
well,
you know
don't
what?
give away the game.
Well, I mean, it's the draft. You
Okay.
already said it.
I thought you were going to start giving off our draft picks. So here's what we're going to do. Amy gets to pick first today.
Thanks.
And I love her. That's why she gets to pick
Thank
first.
you.
And, I just feel bad for her today.
Okay.
So you get to select first. Your number one overall pick in the grand draft
Yeah.
is?
It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon.
Okay, Grand Canyon is great.
That's a great. It's grand.
The Grand Canyon is spectacular.
Yeah.
Have you been to it?
No.
Me neither. I've seen photos.
Me
though.
too.
Looks awesome.
I mean, it's a big hole in the ground. And we love holes in the ground.
It
Think
is
of like when there's someone digs a ditch, everyone looks at the hole in the ground. The Grand Canyon is like a million ditches.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon.
Because you've never seen it,
Right.
technically.
I've seen photos. All right. Okay, my number one pick,
Yeah.
number two overall, Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, that's a good one.
And you can decide if it's Grand Theft Auto, the game,
yeah,
or
the
for
felony.
real,
Yeah,
or the actual felony.
yeah, that's a great.
It is whatever it is. It's formidable. Grand Theft Auto is formidable. That game has been around forever, and it is one of the most popular in history.
Yeah,
it's so good. And then people steal your cars or whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great one. That was
so that's my number
number
one pick is Grand Theft Auto. What is your number 2, number 3 overall in the grand draft?
Okay. This one's not specifically special to me, and I'm going back and forth on when I should pick it.
Mm-hmm.
But I am picking it because I'm from Missouri. And this is not in Missouri, I don't think. But anyway, I'm picking the Grand Ole Opry. I'm not sure what.
in Nashville?
Yes.
Oh my God. What a stupid pick. My great-grand when I was a kid and we didn't have cable at my house, and that was back when cable was 20 stations, it was 20 channels.
Yeah.
My great-grandma had it, and she used to live in Nashville or Clarksville, whatever. And then she moved to this area.
So I think in my head I thought it was in Branson for a second.
We'd go to the house,
Yeah.
and the Nashville network, I think it was TNN then.
I forgot about the Nashville network.
Oh my God. That's
gosh,
all
you're right.
that was
Because
on.
they would play church services too.
It was that mini Pearl lady and then the Grand Ole Opry.
Yep.
We had to watch. Oh God.
That's number
Woof.
2.
The Grand Ole Opry. You know what my number 2 pick is?
actually
So
have
your
no idea.
number 2 pick is stupid.
Yeah.
Mine
Yeah.
is this. Well, we have to have the sound up.
You don't know.
2 deliveries hit hard and deep to left field. Get up! Get up! And it is gone! A walk-off grand slam home run for Paul Goldschmidt.
There you
And
go,
he has
Amy. It is a grand slam. There is nothing like a grand slam. And in some cases, it's a walk-off grand
Wow.
slam, which is even better.
You know what? That's awesome. I actually didn't even have that on my list.
Yeah,
How
because
did I miss the grand
Well,
slam?
because you're not as smart as I am, but that's okay. I think you're still a wonderful lady.
Thanks.
Grand slam, my second pick.
Wow, that's really good.
It's you know what a grand slam is when you're a kid and you're daydreaming about being a baseball player
Mhm.
and you're playing out in the backyard and that's what you visualize.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I'm going to hit a grand slam, walk off to win this game. Bases loaded, 3-2 count, grand slam. That's it. That's the
perfect.
pinnacle of sports.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Either that or running back a touchdown off a kickoff is pretty awesome too. All right, go ahead.
That's I can't believe I missed your grand slam. I am going with grand piano.
Grand piano's pretty good.
I mean, it's a grand thing.
Do you remember the place on 70? It was just past 270 if you were heading west. And it was over there where in like Earth City area. Over there by where used to be called In Cahoots.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember In Cahoots? There was a grand piano place, and it had a window.
With all
and
the
there
Yamahas.
Yeah, there were like
It was all the
4
Yamaha
different colors.
pianos. Yes.
Like a yellow and an
Yep.
orange. Whatever happened to that place?
I don't know, but as a kid, I was like, man, if I had $1 million, I'd buy a piano that was orange. I don't know. I remember. Because the colors of the pianos and the way they were displayed in the window is kind of the way you would display Lamborghinis and Ferraris at a fancy car shop. You know, the orange Ferrari, the lime green Lamborghini. Yeah. Okay. So I have Grand Canyon, Grand Ole Opry, and the grand piano.
All right. My number 3 pick is the Grand Duke Konstantin Pavlovich of Russia.
That's incredible. That was my pick. That's so crazy.
I don't even know who this is.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the Grand Duke Konstantin Pavlovich of Russia. What do you think of him?
Was he in the 1800s?
Yes, he was in the 1800s.
Nice.
He ruled for 1 month.
Oh, really? Then did he get... What happened to him? Did he get sick or did he get,
Come on,
killed?
when you're a Grand Duke of Russia, what do you think happened to you?
You get killed.
Yeah, I probably got killed.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. That's my pick. My number 3 is the Grand Duke of Russia. All right, your number 4, Amy, in the grand draft today is?
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to see.
What are you looking up?
Mickey Mouse and Goofy singing Grand Old Flag.
You are so...
It's a Grand Old Flag, but what's funny is that's the only... In a rush, that's the version that came up for me, Mickey Mouse and Friends singing Grand Old Flag.
You are such an idiot.
Well, you know what, Ronch? I don't know how to handle prednisone, apparently. Apparently, it's like a pinball machine where it all builds up for 7 days. And then on day 7, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Grand Old Flag. How could you not know I would pick that? That's my favorite song.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it.
Oh my gosh.
All right. My number 4 pick. This is the 8th pick overall. You went the Grand Old Flag. You're so, God, I hate you. Grandparents.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I don't have any more, so I have to envy yours.
I don't have mine anymore.
All my grandparents are dead.
So are mine.
And the last one who passed away was a listener on this station, and so we don't have a listener because of it.
Oh my gosh, Ron.
I know. We lost a listener. What? Why are you laughing at that? That's not funny.
Laughing.
She was a loyal Rush Limbaugh listener. She is no longer with us.
Well, neither is he.
Yeah, he
So
passed away
either
too.
way, she wouldn't be a listener.
Right. Well, yeah, she died before, I guess, we even started. So anyway, grandparents. So if you have any, count your blessings because you have grandparents. I
Yeah.
wonder what that's like.
Okay. I think
Your number. What is your
my
number 5?
5
pick?
goes out to you.
Okay.
And that would be Illusions of Grandeur.
Oh my God. Illusions of Grandeur.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build my brand. All right.
Ooh, it's the Chris and Amy show.
Oh yeah, we have to change the name of the show.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to talk about
we haven't
it.
gotten. We haven't talked about it yet, and we're not supposed to.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
listening to Chris and Amy.
Sounds great.
Chris Rongi and Amy Mark Scores.
With a Q.
With a Q.
Okay. My was that your number 5?
Yeah,
Right? 1, 2, 3,
Illusions of
4, 5.
Grandeur.
Okay, my number 5 in the grand draft is a Grand Marshal.
Yeah. You're going to win.
Grand Marshal of a parade. Who doesn't want to be the first one in the first one in the parade? You get to ride in the convertible. You get to wear the sash. You get to wave to everybody, and
You're
they
gonna
go,
win.
"Who is that?" You are the spectacle of the parade.
Yeah,
you
you
are the
are.
focal point of the parade.
The parade
Nobody
is
cares
your
about
parade.
anything in the parade but you,
Yeah.
the Grand Marshal. So that is my number 5 pick in the grand draft. Do you have another one? You want to go ahead with another round?
Sure.
All right, go ahead. Number 6.
Grand Jury.
You can't pick grand jury
Why not?
because we started with the grand jury.
Are you serious? If you're being serious, I'll move on.
Yes, I want you to move on.
100 grand candy bar. The worst candy bar in the history of the world. I've never even seen one. I've just heard about it. I had to Google what is a 100 grand candy bar. I wasn't even sure if it was
Oh,
1,000 grand candy bar or 1 grand candy bar.
All right.
I don't know.
Okay, Amy, final pick in the draft, the grand draft.
Okay.
Grand Rapids. You ever been to Grand Rapids, Michigan?
No.
It's not bad. Grand Rapids, Michigan's pretty good. They got a big bar there called it's called the Bob, the big old building.
Huh.
And it's downtown, and there are a bunch of different bars in it. It's like a big warehouse. It's called the Bob.
Interesting.
You don't think it is?
I don't really care.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
You have a bad draft again? Is that the problem?
Yeah, and it's distracting. And all I could think of is that you had Grand Slam and grandparents, and I even thought of grandparents. And I didn't
Well,
do
draft
it.
better. All right.
Well,
Are you ready?
I can't. I
Are
just
you ready?
feel confused.
Let me go over the teams so people know. We'll have a poll on Twitter so that you can vote at the show KMOX. Amy's team is Grand Canyon, Grand Ole Opry, the Grand
Piano.
Grand Old Flag, Illusions of Grandeur, and the 100 Grand Candy Bar. I have picked Grand Theft Auto,
Ah,
a Grand Slam,
the Grand Duke of Wellington.
the Grand Duke of Wellington. Get it together. No, I picked the Grand Duke Konstantin Pavlovich of Russia.
Yep.
Grandparents.
Yep.
The Grand Marshal and Grand Rapids, Michigan.
That's voting
my
for
team.
you.
Thank you. That's our draft. We did it again. Another successful draft today.
I feel so sad about this.
Why? You lose all the drafts.
I do. And what's funny is it's like I can feel when it starts to turn. As soon as you said when you said grandparents, I knew it was over. But then not only that, but just looking at all the grand things that you said, and I realized I would vote for your draft.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm coming down.
Oh, the steroid high?
Yes.
Steroid high is going away.
I feel inordinately sad about this. Kind of feel like crying, honestly.
All right, well, you can support Amy because she also screwed something up, and we are trying to fix it.
Wait, what did I do?
The Pasandwich Pascandal.
I didn't do the Pasandwich Pascandal. That was Jane and you. Not you, the voters. The royal
it's
you.
the listener's fault. We had our Sandwich Madness tournament.
And not that it's fault. Maybe it's a great result. We're just saying
it could be.
If you're not happy with the results of the Pasandwich Pascandal, you only have yourselves to blame.
Paschetti's won the sandwich shop, the best one in St. Louis, based on the votes of the listener. And we're doing a bit of there were irregularities.
We're doing a runoff.
We're doing a runoff election next week. We'll tell you about it when we come back on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
The real estate market continues making headlines for both buyers and sellers. The big dilemma for sellers like you is finding the right buyer willing to pay the right price, right? This is Debbie Monterey. And while most agents will make big promises, Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty will actually present you with an upfront written guarantee. It states that Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she will buy it guaranteed in writing. Does your agent compare to that? Gloria is able to make this bold offer because Gloria already has the buyers in her exclusive buyers in waiting program. So before you list your home, do your research and get to know Gloria Liu like I have. Gloria has solutions and options for every seller because she knows that every situation is different. Call her today and ask about Gloria's no obligation cash offer program or her guaranteed sold program. 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey, this is Dave Glover. Let's vote for Ophthalmology Associates as best laser eye treatment in STL Magazine's A-list competition online at stlmag.com.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Has anyone seen Roger? Where's Roger? It's time to open the jewelry store.
Where is everyone?
Did they all take the day off? At traditional jewelry stores everywhere, employees are quiet quitting and going to Diamonds Direct. Not just to work, but to shop. That's because even with employee discounts, Diamonds Direct offers all shoppers better selection and much better value. As a true direct importer of diamonds, Diamonds Direct has long-standing relationships deep in the world diamond industry, as well as the best diamond cutters across the globe, so they can say the quiet part out loud without the middleman markups. Diamonds Direct offers customers bigger, higher quality diamonds at a lower cost every day. Not to mention the best selection, the best customer service, best warranties, and best overall experience.
Hello.
Quiet quit paying too much for your diamonds. Go to Diamonds Direct. You won't be alone in how happy you are. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
All the news and all that matters to you. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
You need to be following our socials. As of right now, it's at the show KMOX. That might change, though. But that's what we are for now. You can go find us on Twitter and on Instagram. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX today. And we mentioned we had a bit of a scandal because we had our Sandwich Madness tournament that ran alongside the March Madness tournament.
Yeah. And just as many people followed it, really.
Yes.
Are we at 300,000 people who were like,
I don't know, this has gotten on Facebook so much play.
It's exploded on Facebook.
Absolutely. On our KMOX 1120 Facebook page, we posted the results of the Sandwich Madness tournament poll, and this was voted upon by the people.
Yeah, it wasn't us. We weren't voting.
I mean, I placed a vote or two.
Well, maybe early on, but we didn't pick the winners of the bracket. This was the people's vote.
No, my personal number one lost in the Salty 16. So we had just extraordinary response, mainly about the outcome of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were in favor. A lot of people were defending the ultimate champion, Pescetti's in South City. A lot of people thought, how can you pick that as the number one sandwich shop in St. Louis? What about LeGrand's? Well, that was in the Final Four. What about Mom's? That was there too. What about Blue City Deli? That was also in the final. So here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're still reaching out, but we are trying to set up times over the next several days where each of those 4 sandwich places that were in the Final Four can campaign for themselves to win the sandwich runoff.
Because Pescetti's is awesome.
Pescetti's
won and reached out to the show. We talked to them and they were totally cool with the runoff.
Really great sense of humor
really
about
funny.
the people were kind of giving them a hard time because they're not really, it's not sandwiches first. I mean, it's a pasta place first. So they were really cool about it.
Really
and
cool.
we're going to have somebody from LeGrand's. We will have somebody from Blue City Deli. We're working on Mom's and also Pescetti's. And next week we are going to hold the election, the runoff election. We'll have those 4 places that you can vote for, and it's going to be great.
It is the Sandwich Pescandal runoff.
Per runoff.
No, that's not how it works.
Oh, okay. The Sandwich Pescandal runoff.
That's right.
Happening next week. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji, you are listening to the show. Mike Claiborne is next on KMOX.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
If your stunning home has gone a little stale, it might be time to contact your local CertaPro painters. We bring the power of pro to every job. That's CertaPro's power to do the job right, the first time, every time, and the power to renovate your home without breaking down walls. Take your home from blah to booyah. Get on CertaPro's schedule today at CertaPro.com. The power of pro. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
At 11:30, we have clouds and 54 degrees downtown at the Arch. Russian state news agency TASS says jailed Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich has been charged with espionage in Russia and has entered his official denial. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas says he wasn't required to disclose the many trips he and his wife took that were paid for by a Republican mega donor. Thomas says in a statement he was advised by court colleagues and others in the federal judiciary that, quote, this sort of personal hospitality from close personal friends who did not have business before the court was not reportable, end quote. Marijuana sales are climbing in Missouri. The latest figures show $126 million in sales in March, from the $103 million sold in February, the first month it was legal. At the current pace, the current estimate is for $1.4 billion in the first year of legal adult use sales. The state takes a 6% sales tax on that total. We've got emergency vehicles on 6440 going east at Mason. We've also got moving road work on 364 at Route K. The left lane has been closed. This afternoon, sun and some clouds. Milder this afternoon with a high 60 to 64 degrees. Clear tonight, a little less cold with the low 40. For tomorrow, sunshine, high 66. Sponsored by Champion Floors, it's 54 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Champion Floor Company is known for their customer service. It's a big reason why they've been serving the community for 34 years. If you're looking to replace your flooring, schedule an appointment at championfloor.com. Champion Floor, delivering excellence every day.
Hey, this is Debbie Monterey. Let's vote for Ophthalmology Associates for Best Laser Eye Treatment in St. Louis Magazine's A-List competition. Online at stlmag.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
those stomach issues ruined your birthday?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
According to the U.S. debt clock, in the time you hear this commercial, our nation's debt will go up by $1.5 million. That's more than $2 billion a day. Right now, our debt is over $31 trillion and climbing fast. The question is, how do we pay it off? The answer is increasing taxes. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now when rates are historically low, or later when rates are potentially higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things. Heisey Advisory Group knows what to look for and can help you create a customized plan so your retirement is as tax efficient as possible. Schedule your visit with Heisey Advisory Group now, 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor, and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. AEWM and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC are not affiliated companies. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sunday mornings at 10:15 on Sports on a Sunday morning, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show.
I'm excited for not only the club but for the fans. This is a special year for sure.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
I'm Woodson Contreras. I'm Paul DeYoung.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Jordan Hicks, and you're listening to the show on KMOX.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji. It is KMOX. The Cardinals are a week into the season, and we are joined by our best friend. He is Mike Claiborne. He is one of the voices of the Cardinals. You'll catch him on KMOX broadcast tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And they begin a series against the division rival Milwaukee Brewers. Claibs is with us from Wisconsin. Hello, Mike Claiborne.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're pretty good.
Pretty good. Thanks for asking.
Excited.
Yeah.
Well, you know what happened? Claibs, I have never been on steroids before, and I had to take steroids, and I'm on day 7, and they didn't kick in.
She's huge.
No, I can hit a home run. I should be on the Cardinals right now. But what happened is...
Well, I've seen that before.
Yeah, that was one of the best summers of my life.
At any rate, Claibs, I didn't feel anything from the steroids until today. It's like it was all pent up for today, and now I feel like I could fight 100 people. Not out of anger.
She's been a real crab apple.
Well, just start with Raby. I mean, Ron.
Oh, what the hell?
Well, him too.
Who?
Fight everybody you've ever met in this broadcasting world. I
think you go undefeated today.
Dude, she's been taking swings like in the office before the show started. She was like, can I punch you? Can I hit you or something? She said
just make sure there are no loose baseball bats or golf clubs around.
He was a little dodgy, so I didn't make contact. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you need to sober him up anyway, so.
I agree, Claibs.
I also agree. Mike Claiborne, hey, before we get started with the Cardinals stuff, what's your favorite sandwich place in St. Louis?
My kitchen. So here's the deal on sandwiches. I am such a basic sandwich person. A good peanut butter and jelly on whole wheat, toasted, to go along, and also maybe a nice turkey and Swiss toasted.
Okay.
I'm not one that goes with a lot of condiments and all that. I'm a really basic sandwich person. Now, would you include a hamburger in that too?
No.
Oh, okay.
A burger's a burger. A burger's its own thing.
A burger's a burger. A hot dog is a hot dog. A sandwich is a sandwich. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I appreciate that.
I wish I was more exciting, but I'm kind of bored
That's
when
okay.
it comes to that.
No.
We had a
What about
controversy.
you guys?
Well, we had a controversy. We had our Sandwich Madness tournament, and there were a lot of people who were very unhappy. Judging by the KMOX Facebook page, we have upset thousands of people.
Yeah.
So about our sandwich.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
The voters voted.
So we're going to redo the vote, and we're taking the final 4. And it's we've got Paschetti's, LeGrand's, Mom's Deli, and Blue City Deli are in the final. So we're going to have a runoff election next week.
Here's the thing about sandwiches. I don't like sandwiches that are like the height of your fist.
Mm-hmm.
You know how sometimes they just put too much stuff on there.
Like the Carnegie Deli kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas to the point where like Uncle, I mean, you can take 2 bites of it, and all of a sudden you have to get your jaw restructured.
Right.
I mean, it's that thick, and I don't like them that big.
Yeah. There's an art to it. There really is.
It really
I think
is.
There's
It really is.
said
Yeah.
For the simple and the classic. Okay, Claibs, I got to ask you about this because this is hilarious to me with all the new rule changes in Major League Baseball. After Cardinal games, or really any Major League Baseball game, Ranj will text me, but he doesn't text me the score. He texts me the length of the game. He's just amazed by it because they're so quick. He's like, the Cards game, 2 hours, 20 minutes. I don't know who won, but and then he's like, Cincinnati, 1 hour, 57 minutes.
Hey.
It's pretty
Let me
significant.
tell you something. Yeah. It is the most revolutionary thing we've seen in sports.
Wow.
Not just baseball. We've always been taught, just inhale the game. It doesn't have a clock. And, that was cool when we were playing games in 2.5, 2:45. But because of walk-up songs and all the other things that have taken place over the last few years, it's easy to go 3.5 hours. The first week we shaved off 26 minutes for baseball games. And I think I haven't heard anybody really complaining. Now, you had some of the older players complaining because they weren't used to it, but all the minor league guys have already gone through it with being in the minors before they get here. So it really has worked. I don't hear anybody complaining. I think the games are crisper. I think they're sharper. The players seem more engaged. So I'm glad it's here. And again, I think it might be the most revolutionary thing we've seen in sports.
I think you're right, because when anybody floated the idea of a pitch clock or any efforts to speed up the game, a lot of the pushback, and this is going back years, the pushback was always, whoa, so we're going to do all this and shave off 10 minutes of the game. Is that worth it? Like, this is way surpassed that. And in fact, I was looking at just last year's game times for the Cardinals specifically. They had 4 games all year long that were under 2:30. We are already at 3, and they have played 6 games. 6 games, half of the games have been under 2.5 hours, and a 4th game was 2:31. So anybody who has said, Mike, that baseball's boring, I don't like going because nothing happens, the guys stand around, there's not enough action, it takes 4 hours to play. If you're a casual fan, that argument is out the window now.
Yeah, you're right. And I think what we have to come to grips with, the baseball needs more new fans. Okay. People, as you mentioned, we want to get them to go from casual to consistent. And that's something that I think you can do by attracting people that they know they're not going to be there 3.5, 4 hours. I think that will create a little bit more interest, because the average fan base for baseball is like in the mid 50s compared to the NBA and the NHL and the NFL. They're all in the 30s. And so that's something baseball's got to do. And I think this is a great way to attract younger people who, I won't say because they don't have an attention span. I don't have one either. And I'm much older than younger people. But my point being, something that gives them sizzle, something that gives them a reason to come back. And I think this has been a great start. I'm glad that the umpires are enforcing it to the T.
Yep.
There's very little wiggle room. I mean, obviously there's some common sense things that you'll do, but for the most part, the way they're handling it has been I just commend them immensely, because this is something that the game needed.
See, and that's why the clock, to me, and this was the argument I've always made, because there's been a time limit. Umpires are supposed to move the game along. They just don't do it. That's why I've been saying the clock is necessary, because if it's in your face and it's on the field and everybody can see it, they have to enforce it. There's none of this, letting it slide and nobody notices. There's no way to do that any longer. And to your argument about younger people, I have a friend who's in his early 30s, and he's a bit of a hater. And this is only an anecdote, but he texted me the other day and he said, I think I actually like baseball again because of how snappy all of the games are. I think this will end up being a very, very good thing for the sport.
No, I think it will. And I think you're going to see the other sports, be it football, that will be taking some steps here the next year or two to try and speed up their game as well. Because, a college football game can last a whole afternoon into the evening. And the NFL, used to have the noon start, and, they could finish up a little bit before 3. Now that you're lucky if it goes to 3:15. So I think the other sports need to understand that this is a plus for them. And I know some people said, well, the concession stands, they're going to lose money. Well, they stopped selling beer after the 7th inning, no matter whether it's a 3-hour game or a 2.5-hour game. So it won't have that much of an impact. I think it'll be incumbent upon ballparks to make sure that their employees are a little bit more efficient in getting things in and out on time. And maybe you adjust the menu to figure out, okay, what are the things we know we can move quickly where a fan doesn't have to stand in line for an inning to get something that they want to eat. So I think that comes into play also. And I think this first year we'll do a lot of fact finding, and I will guarantee you next year things will be even more efficient, if not before that. I mean, I think that they have to take a look at it, have a bigger sample size on what works and what moves for fans.
Okay, quick question before we move on, because I know we've talked about it a lot, but it's called a pitch clock. But who do you think is feeling the impact more, batters or pitchers?
I think both. Both have a routine that they've been accustomed to. I know that, like, for the pitcher, we've seen some guys get balls called on them. We've seen some hitters get strikes called on them. And, it's one of those things that, they have this routine that they've been so accustomed to dealing with. And now they have to cut it back a little bit. And some of them are having a tougher time. I predict by mid-May, this will be a subject that we probably won't even be getting into, because even when you bring up minor league players, again, they've already gone through it because the minor leagues had it before the major leagues. And I think this will be kind of a moot point by the middle of May.
All right, Claibs, let's talk about this early start for the Cardinals. They're 2-4. The offense has been there. They're third in OPS in the National League. They're number 1 in batting average. They are 6th in runs scored. But the pitching hasn't always been there, with the exception of like Jack Flaherty's first start, really good. What have you seen? And is any, I know it's week 1, but any alarm bells for you?
No, I just think we need to start the games in the third inning because we're good after that. We're really good after the third inning. But no, I don't really put a lot of concern into it right now. We've gone through the rotation once, and I think you still have some guys that are trying to stretch themselves out as far as pitch limits are concerned and just getting a better feel. Throw in the fact that you've gone from a very humid environment in Florida to now we're here in the Midwest where it's a little drier, getting a grip, doing little things or things that pitchers are trying to get acclimated to. And if you look around baseball, there's a lot of teams that are having the same issue. So it's not something I'm going to lose any sleep over. Obviously, I want them to be better this week than they were last week. But I really look at players just getting acclimated to the environment more than anything else. And maybe pressing a little bit. Some guys press. And here's the other thing that I was telling somebody the other day. I'll give you a guy like Jack Flaherty, for instance, has a really good slider that has late action on it. That means late movement on the slider that sometimes umpires will give up on, thinking, well, that's a ball. And then at the last second, it catches a corner, and it's really a strike. And so when you don't get that pitch, then you have to try and go to a plan B and figure out, all right, what else can I do in order to throw a strike? Do I get the ball up? If you get the ball up, then all of a sudden you start to get hit. Or do I keep pounding that zone and maybe I walk one guy too many? So there's a lot of things that go into it. And I always remind people that hitters and umpires can't give up on pitches because the way these guys throw breaking balls, they have that late action to it that just when you think it's going to be a ball, all of a sudden, boom, there it is, a strike. And then you're stuck saying to yourself, wow. And because you have the box now you can watch on TV, you can see where a lot of balls will just catch just enough of the strike zone to warrant it being a strike. But, an umpire doesn't have that second chance. He's got to make that call right then and there. And a hitter's got to make a decision on whether to swing at it or not.
Mike Claiborne, good to talk to you. Enjoy Cream City. I said that to Rooney yesterday. I like saying Cream City. So enjoy that and get us a series win.
We'll be back with multiple wins under our belt. Now, hopefully, we'll see you guys at the ballpark next week.
Thanks, Claibs.
All right, you guys have a great week. Take care.
Thank you.
That is Mike Claiborne. You can hear him on the broadcast tonight as the Cardinals take on the Brewers. It'll be here on KMOX. What time's our pregame show start? There's a little list back there. You can look at it. I don't know. Do we know? Nobody helps me out here. Amy, I've asked for your help.
I feel like when you bring up the pregame, you should know it already.
It's a good question. Really good. Really good question. Good.
6:15.
6:15.
Not a question.
Good statement.
Thank you.
Leave me alone.
No, I will.
Scott Jagows coming up
not.
next on KMOX.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji here.
Join us Tuesday, April 18th at the Center of Creative arts as KMOX presents a conversation with CBS Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett.
Major will be there to sign his new book, The Big Truth.
You can pre-purchase your copy at Left Bank Books or the night of the event.
A conversation with CBS Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett, Tuesday, April 18th. The event is free. You do need to reserve your spot, though. For more information and reservations, KMOX.com/events.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Pavarotti.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Spring has sprung and we're ready for you at St. Louis Composting. This year, skip the Garden Center mayhem and conveniently order your compost, garden soil, or mulch for delivery straight to your home. Online at stocompost.com. That's stocompost.com.
Countdown to Earth Day. Just 15 days to go. To increase gas mileage, keep tires inflated to the correct pressure and remove heavy items like golf clubs from your trunk. When we each share one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Track your blood donations right from the palm of your hand and stay updated on special promotions. Download the American Red Cross Blood Donor app today. To learn more, go to redcross.org.
Back to the show.
Yeah, the show
on KMOX.
Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. It's the show on KMOX. So we are visited by reporter, anchor. He does everything here. It's Scott Jagow from the newsroom, who's visiting with us. His two big segments that he does over the weekend are coming up, and we like to talk about three good things and roaming St. Louis. You, Scott, love this time of year, and in particular, you love Sundays.
I do. I'm going to talk about that in three good things. So many great things about Sundays. Spring and April. And it got me thinking, because what I do is stew on this stuff all week long. Well, where am I going with three good things? But the thread is going to be haiku. This month is international. One of the days coming up is International Haiku Poetry Day. I am on a mission to bring back haiku. You guys know haiku?
Oh, I know what a 575 is.
Okay. You got it. 575.
And here's little hurtful, because when I was hired for KMOX, the first thing Steve Moore told me was that I could not recite poetry on air.
Oh.
And now it seems he's made an exception for the
I don't think he
favorite
knows about
sitting
this.
over here.
Well,
oops.
Haikus are fun. Your poems are boring.
It's Shakespeare. Shakespeare is not boring.
No, Shakespeare's pretty good.
Well, the reason I like haikus, and let's just talk about this, is
Scott's like, stay focused.
I love the word economy of them. I mean, anyone can write a haiku. It only takes a few minutes for most of them. It's just a few words. But I love the crunchiness of the words you can put together. And it's not a long poem. It's not Shakespeare. It's 3 lines. So I have some haikus for you guys if you want to hear them.
Love it.
Yep.
All right. Here's a show promo. I've checked all these. They're 575. 5 syllables, then 7, then 5. Okay. Ranji and Mark Scores. Agreeing to disagree. Don't dare miss the show.
Oh, hey, that's not. You know what? We might actually use that one.
We should use that one.
We're trying to rebrand.
Yeah.
What I love about the middle sentence is, on paper, it looks really short, but it's 7 syllables. Agreeing to disagree. 7 syllables. All right, here's another one. Your sandwich bracket may cause fist fights in delis. I vote for Legrand's.
Oh, that's great.
That is
that's a really great one.
Pascandal haiku.
Yeah, you heard
We're
about
calling
our
it the
Pascandal.
Pascandal.
I love that.
Poor Paschettis. They didn't do anything wrong.
Hey,
They've been serving St. Louis for like 40 years.
Listen, people are mad at Tom Brady because he's a winner.
Because he's great. That's true.
So people are going to be mad because Paschetti's is a winner.
Yeah.
I love the sandwich bracket thing, and fist fights in deli sounds good. Okay, here's the Cardinals one. Here's the Cardinals one.
Yeah.
Hail Jordan Walker. Kid's a star. Let's Shohei him how to throw a curve.
Hey,
no, that's not a slight on the pitching staff.
No, it's not.
It's more about let's find the next Shohei Ohtani.
It's been difficult, but listen, Shohei Ohtani and Newt Larsbar. That's what I call him. I call him Newt Larsbar.
Yeah. Now trying to think of his real name. You can't.
They are best friends now. They're best friends now. When Shohei is up for his, contract,
Shohei him the money.
Yes, Shohei him the
Shohei
money.
State. That's what we're
Let's go. Bring him in.
All right, I got one more.
This is awesome.
Soccer.
Okay.
Soccer capital, not KC. They lose too much. We just scored again. All right, that's what I got on the
that's good.
3 good things.
That's awesome.
My roaming St. Louis segment this week, I spent it in a church with Patrick Murphy, who has written a new book called Places to Pray. And he traveled all around Missouri to little tiny churches and massive cathedrals and convents and monasteries, saw shrines and grottos. He just has all these great stories about the history, the architecture, the art and music of Catholic churches. And
cool.
It tells the story of immigration in Missouri. You're going to love that.
That's great. What time for roaming St. Louis?
Yeah, roaming St. Louis is 8:20 and 9:20 on Sundays. It's a 2-parter. And before that, at 8:10 and 9:10, I have 3 good things.
Awesome. And you can listen to that on KMOX 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, and the Odyssey
on
app.
your way to church.
On your way to church.
Right.
The church
Sunday
special.
morning.
Sunday morning.
Scott, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you next Friday.
Yeah.
That is Scott Jagoff from the newsroom. When we come back, we'll let you know what you've missed on this show with Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on
KMOX.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
So I have a new client to tell you guys about, Doctors Birdie and Malhotra from Ophthalmology Associates. You've heard about them for years. Charlie Brennan, Tom Ackerman, Trish Gazelle, so many personalities have gone to see these doctors. I recently went myself. I have a very slight prescription, but I have something called narrow angle glaucoma in my family, so I have to be really careful about that. I had the best exam I've ever had from the most courteous professional people I've ever dealt with. Put aside all the puffery, put aside all of my salesmanship. These are the best eye doctors in town. They're so professional, so competent. Their staff are so friendly. Everything about them, whether it's a LASIK procedure or it's simply eyeglasses or sunglasses, whatever it is, these are the guys. 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com for Doctors Birdie and Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's a cloudy sky, 55 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, the man accused in the downtown St. Louis crash that cost a teenage volleyball player her legs enters his formal plea.
A defense attorney for the accused reckless driver, 21-year-old Daniel Riley, enters a plea of not guilty to all 5 counts, including driving without a license, assault, and armed criminal action. Riley was not in the courtroom. He's being held without bond at the jail awaiting trial. He could have been following the hearing on Zoom, as is sometimes the case. The next hearing is set for May. At the courthouse, Kevin Killeen, KMOX News.
A U.S. journalist has been charged with spying in Russia.
Russia's state news agency TASS says jailed American journalist Evan Gershkovich has been formally charged with spying. The Wall Street Journal reporter was arrested last week on charges of trying to obtain classified information about a Russian arms factory. Russia's FSB officially charged him today. Gershkovich has denied the accusations, saying he was engaged in journalistic activities in Russia. Elaine Cobb, CBS News.
Pope Francis will not be participating in a traditional Good Friday event at the Colosseum. CBS's Sabrina Castelfranco reporting from Rome has the details.
Pope Francis will follow today's torchlit Way of the Cross procession at Rome's ancient Colosseum from his home at the Vatican. The Holy See issued a statement Friday afternoon that the Pope would not participate in the traditional Good Friday event because of the cold temperatures in recent days. Less than a week ago, Pope Francis was released from Rome's Gemelli Hospital, where he was treated for bronchitis. Sabina Castelfranco, CBS News, Rome.
The COVID state of emergency is now over in St. Louis City and County. The announcement comes ahead of next month's planned conclusion of the federal state of emergency. County Executive Sam Page and Mayor Tashara Jones made the joint decision, which took effect at 9 a.m. today. At the Masters, the grass is green, the flowers are in bloom, and cell phones are banned.
What you won't find in anyone's hand?
Can't bring your phone in.
Even 9-year-old Ace Lowy has seen the impact for his mom.
She left it in the car, and then she's like
Where's my phone?
People are finding other, perhaps more important things to look at.
It allows you to take in all the scenes. It takes in the experience a lot more.
While some may disagree about the phone ban, parents of teens rejoice.
It is wonderful. They're talking to me.
And maybe it's just one more reason to come back to Augusta.
We'll have to try to come here every year so that one day I'll be able to talk to my kids.
Sam Bauman, CBS News, Augusta.
The KMOX Business Desk, employers added just 236,000 jobs to payrolls last month, according to the Labor Department. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger tells us paychecks are bigger.
Wages increased by 4.2% from a year ago. That's a continued deceleration from the peak of 5.9% in March of last year. The Federal Reserve is hoping to see wage increases drop below 4% in the coming months.
The Dow from Stifel's up 2.5 points to 33,485. We've got some moving road work on 180 at Long. That's got the right lane closed. Otherwise, roads look to be clear at this point.
Milder this afternoon than yesterday's. We'll get up to about 60 to 64. Sunshine mixing with some high-level clouds, and then a little less cold tonight, near 40. Mid-60s tomorrow, near 70 on Easter Sunday, and then even warmer, low to mid-70s with some sunshine Monday and Tuesday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Justine DeVore on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Partly cloudy and 55 in Florissant, 55 St. Peter's, 56 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info@cardinals.com. Time to rewind the show. This is the show recap.
What a day we've had so far. It is, oh my gosh, it doesn't feel like it's already noon. It's 12:04, Amy.
It was 12:02.
It sure was. I mean, you cracked the code.
I know. What happened was
Yeah.
I left the studio, didn't bring my phone, don't have a watch. Asked Kevin Wheeler what time is it, and he said 12:02.
And then what did you do?
I bought some peanut M&Ms.
And you're eating them right now.
Yeah, and then I came back into the studio, and it's 12:04. All right, time to recap the show.
We spent the first 45 minutes talking with professional people,
Yep.
John Hancock and Megan McBride. They joined us on the show. We discussed a couple of different things. Jay Ashcroft is running for governor. That has become official, and that decision being announced yesterday, and saying that, you mentioned this earlier, that we're at a crossroads now, that the Missouri Republicans are at a crossroads.
Yes, that's what Ashcroft said. And I was a little confused because I didn't know what those crossroads were or are. We have a very red state, a red legislature, and we look at the Republicans in this gubernatorial primary that'll be coming up, and some big names. Ashcroft is a heavy hitter when it comes to political name recognition. You've also got Mike Kehoe running for governor, as well as Bill Eigel. I'm not sure how that's all going to shake out. What we are seeing is a lot of Republican politicians are trying to make themselves stand out, trying to create a brand name for themselves by becoming more fringe in their political stance, in their campaign slogans, in their campaign ads. They've pretty much realized, well, we're not going to win on being moderate, even though so many people that we talk to want more moderate politicians in general, want politicians who are able to compromise, talk with the other side. But when it comes to campaigning, the more
primaries,
the more radical you are.
That's what I wonder what would happen if all of the candidates just decided, hey, we're all running on moderation here, and we're not going to try to appeal to the extremes. Because then the extremes would have to come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what your choice is one of three more moderate Republicans or more moderate Democrats, you don't really have a choice but to vote for one of them. You could sit it out, but you don't get to dictate how things go, for everybody else. So I wonder, and I know this is just an idealistic way to look at it and wouldn't happen, but if all the candidates just said, you know what, I'm not appealing to the extreme weirdos. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's somehow we've set ourselves up to cater to the fringe.
We also discussed what had happened in the Tennessee State House yesterday. 2 members of the House of Representatives there, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, were expelled from their positions as representatives. Both are Democrats. The third person who was up for a vote, Gloria Johnson, was not expelled. She held on to her seat by just 1 vote. And this was after protests were done in the State House building
during
that
session.
disrupted proceedings, which, fine. If you want to remove them from the premises in the moment when you can't conduct business, fine. But expulsion, that's a one step way too far. And I do think it is in some form or another going to backfire on the Republicans in Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it'll backfire on the Republicans for sure. I think, as John Hancock pointed out multiple times, and I think he pointed out very well and very correctly, that he is an institutionalist. Our democratic institutions matter. The decorum that we have during the processes that take place and the city, state, and federal levels, that matters for keeping our democracy stable. The most egregious abuse and disruption, of course, took place on January 6th when you had Donald Trump and his most ardent supporters trying to stop the constitutional process, the democratic process of the peaceful transfer of power, which is a cornerstone of our democracy. That is horrific. That is something that is not sustainable when you have people not respecting or honoring the certain processes that we have. You can protest, absolutely, but to try to stop a constitutional process is dangerous. That's why John Hancock said in Tennessee, these protests that took place during the House session were a big deal. This isn't something that we should make the norm. At the same time, expulsion, probably not the right move, and will
It's
most
definitely
likely
not the right move.
backfire on the Republicans.
It's absolutely the wrong move. And it is a very bad look that they expelled 2 black members and they did not expel the white member who was also up for the vote. And, you know, like Justin Jones said on the floor yesterday, they all had the chance to appeal their case to the rest of the House before they placed the votes. And he said, look, what they were doing is they're picking and choosing who they're expelling. They had back in 2019, and he referenced this, there was some kind of bickering going on behind the scenes, and I think it spilled out onto the floor, but somebody, a Republican member of the House, peed on the chair of another member of the House, and nothing happened to that person. It didn't happen in session. It must have happened, while they were not. And you had the Speaker of the House there, Jeremy Faison, who tried to pull the pants down of a referee in a high school basketball game, and he got to keep his seat. So you can't be choosy about who you remove. You need to be more, I think, fair about it, because there have been other offenses that in that House, people probably should have been removed from their jobs, and they were not. You and I were talking a little bit. We mentioned this at the beginning of the show. Clarence Thomas, there was the report from ProPublica that came out yesterday that he did not report trips and these vacations that were paid for by a friend of his. And it either could be a simple mistake or it could be something nefarious, and we don't really know what's going on there.
So, yes, and this is now why there's going to be an ongoing congressional debate about the ethics of of the courts, because Clarence Thomas has a friend who happens to be a major Republican donor in Harlan Crow, and he and his wife have been friends with Crow for over 2 decades, and he has gone on vacations with him. He's spent time on his yacht, his private properties, and he's flown in the private jet. There is a clause that if you are staying with a friend in their personal residence or their personal vacation homes, that you don't have to disclose that as hospitality and gifts received if it's from a friend. However, if your travel is not commercial, and in this case, many times Clarence Thomas was flying on this real estate magnate, Republican donor Harlan Crow, his private jet, that should have been reported. And again, because they were kind of lavish vacations, it flirted with that edge of was it a gray area? Is it not a gray area? Clarence Thomas, during this show, has officially responded, and said that this has been a good friend of ours for 2 decades. Whether or not it was something deliberate, nefarious, or just something that the Supreme Court justice believed fell under that hospitality, friendship, private residence exemption, I don't know. But Congress will be looking into it, maybe clearing up some of the rules, because I know the rules have been changed since Clarence Thomas became a Supreme Court justice. I'm not sure how much they've changed in those decades.
And he did say in the statement, the Supreme Court released a statement that said he was advised by people, that he sought the counsel of others in the judiciary and colleagues of his. And he said that sort of personal hospitality from close personal friends who did not have business before the court was not reportable. So that's according to the statement. I don't know. And I really don't know what kind of, if there is going to be a serious investigation done or what comes of it. But it is definitely something to keep an eye on, because if there's anything we want, we do not want our Supreme Court justices who wield so much power in this country. Look what they did last year. We do not want them to be influenced by friends. We don't want them to be influenced by people with money. That's the last thing you want from the Supreme Court.
And again, with the whole issue, you can't stop Supreme Court justices from having friends. By very nature of their job, they're probably going to have friends. Like, considering they went to Harvard, Yale, wherever these Ivy League Supreme Court justices go, most likely they're going to have friends with money and influence. Most likely those friends who have money and influence and power are donating to causes they believe in. So you can't cut them off from social circles. Again, I don't know if this is
that.
No, and I don't know if this is a gray area. What actually concerns me more, and I like Clarence Thomas's story as far as like where he came from, how he became a Supreme Court justice. Like, we obviously all know where he stands as far as his personal beliefs. The whole Ginny Thomas thing with January 6th, that to me is more concerning than this.
Definitely
this
concerning.
Feels like, I bet a lot of people go on these trips with family friends.
Yeah. I guess the way I would see it, and I don't know how to do it in a realistic way, but there are just certain jobs that if you agree to take those jobs, you should be held to standards that other people are not.
Like, reported at least. It's not that you don't have to go.
I'm not sure that you should ever, honestly, if you're a Supreme Court justice, I'm not sure that a billionaire friend of yours should be allowed to take you on vacation. I'm just not. Like, and I know that sounds unfair. Then don't do that job, because that job that you do affects the lives of every single American.
Would you say the same thing for a Speaker of the House? Would you say the same thing for a senator? Because that's where you draw the line. Because we know money is power. What's the difference between lobbying and bribery?
Well, I would say for when it comes to Congress, Speaker of the House, and this is where Nancy Pelosi, when she was the Speaker, and still holds this opinion, I think is absolutely wrong. And we've heard arguments for the idea that people who are in Congress should be allowed to trade individual stocks. I don't think they should. Sorry. You are privy to information that other people don't get, and therefore you can dump your stocks if you feel like something's about to happen and you don't want to be on the wrong end of it, like Kelly Loeffler in Georgia. She did that, and I don't think that's right. If you want to have mutual funds or if you want to have something like that, fine, go ahead. But you don't get to trade individual stocks when you're privy to information that other people are not privy to. And I think that's just a rule that if you accept that kind of job that affects other people, you should not be allowed to do the things regular people are allowed to do. I'm sorry. Then don't do that job. Don't be a Supreme Court justice. And I would say Speaker of the House is probably a little different than being a justice, because the Speaker of the House does not really have that same sort of, I would say, authority that a justice does. Like, those 9 people can do a lot on their own. And one person can flip a decision in court that changes the lives of millions and millions of people. That's more power than I would say the Speaker of the House has.
I also want to mention April 18th, Tuesday, April 18th. Let's go, baby. At Coca, Major Garrett, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS, will be right here in St. Louis. We talk to him every Thursday. He'll be in the flesh on Tuesday, April 18th, joining Chris Ranji and me at Coca. And it's a free event. We just need you to RSVP. So we have a ballpark estimate of how many people are coming. And let me let you know, you want to get those RSVPs in because it's filling up quickly.
Yeah, it's been filling up very quickly. KMOX.com/events at the Center of Creative Arts, which it's right in U City. Mm-hmm. It's on Washington, but it's right off Del Mar, right where the I've been mentioning that roundabout. You know, the roundabout on Del Mar in U City, it's like half a block from that. So it's a great location. There is free parking. We didn't mention that, I think, when we've been talking about it. There's free parking.
So everything's free.
Yeah, so it's totally cool. But if you want to purchase a copy of The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie, then you need to buy your copy there, courtesy of Left Bank Books, or you can purchase it ahead of time, whatever you want to do. But Major will be signing that book when we are done.
Very exciting. Tuesday, April 18th, KMOX.com/events.
Hey, there's a one of the more interesting stories, at least people have been really fascinated by this, is we got a grocery store war going on here.
Oh man, we love
in
our
the St. Louis
stores.
area. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji will get into that next on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Don Chamberlain, best-selling author from right here in the St. Louis area. And I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It can potentially give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your principal is never at risk from market declines. Even people who are currently on track have shifted money to this strategy because it could increase the retirement income or may allow them to stop working years sooner than they expected. So if you're over 50 and want to learn how you could potentially get bigger retirement with less money, call and get the free copy of this brand new movie. That's a $30 value. But when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. I'll even cover the shipping and handling. No credit card required. 1-800-807-3838. That's 800-807-3838. 1-800-807-3838.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Onder Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million.
Need to sell your home, but not willing to play the wait and see game? This is Debbie Monterey with Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. With Gloria Liu, you have seller options to choose from, including a no-obligation cash offer from one of Gloria Liu's cash buyers. It's simple, straightforward, and in many cases, you can receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. No more wait and see game. And you can even pick the closing date. With Gloria Liu and her cash offer program, you are always in control. Not ready for the cash offer? No problem. Gloria Liu has a guaranteed sold program that states Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she will buy it herself, guaranteed in writing. Gloria has solutions and options for every seller. So call today and ask about Gloria's no obligation cash offer program or the guaranteed sold program, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Diamonds Direct is making it easier than ever to design your dream ring at your dream payment. Announcing all new aggressive financing options up to 60 months. These new creative plans allow you to pick your payment so you don't have to compromise on that engagement ring. We know that just like that ideal engagement ring, one size doesn't fit all. You want choices, alternatives, options, and as always, we want to empower you every step of the way. Diamonds Direct's multitude of finance options now allow you to spread your payments up to 5 years. Pay nothing down or pay a lot down. You decide. Get a $400 a month payment or a $200 a month payment. It's your choice. So you can get the most beautiful engagement ring and have money left over for other fun things like a tropical honeymoon or decorating the house. And by the way, it's not just for engagement rings. You can use these flexible financing options for wedding bands, designer jewelry, gifts for any occasions. At Diamonds Direct, we're always finding ways to help you make your money go farther. Your love, our passion. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Hi, this is Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Recently, a dear friend shared the difficult news of her husband's terminal diagnosis. Wow, a medical test changes everything. Despite the news, they have time to review and adjust their estate plans, their legacy, so their final wishes are handled. I didn't have time. My late husband's fatal car accident changed everything instantly. Do you have an estate plan? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you and plan for your loved ones. Check on their free webinar, where you will learn legal strategies of wills and trusts on the web at yourestatematters.com. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, your St. Louis estate planning attorneys, online at yourestatematters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertisement.
Work or play, KMOX is right there with you. We go where you go.
Special agent in charge of the St. Louis field office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Jay Greenberg, will be in studio with us momentarily. It's Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX today. Talking about I like the store war kind of thing. I like that we have these two massive grocery chains in the St. Louis area. You've got Schnucks and you've got Dierbergs. And now we're going back to price wars. I love price war stuff. I love rivalries like this. And we've got the KMOX Facebook page that shares stories that our newsroom does. And you can watch, listen, read all of them on KMOX.com. And that has gotten so much traction. What is going on between Schnucks and Dierbergs right now feels like a real rivalry, and it's fun.
Because they've got the signs in the stores where like Schnucks has their price, compare it to Dierbergs at this price. I like it. I think it's exciting.
It's like the Cardinals and Cubs.
Yeah.
But not really. But one of them you don't hate.
We're both St. Louis.
Yeah, I don't hate either of those stores. I like them both.
I go to both.
I do too.
I love Schnucks and Dierbergs. I literally go to both stores all the time.
Do you know people that are one or the other? That are, I only go to Schnucks, or I refuse to go to Schnucks. I will only go to Dierbergs. Do you know people like that?
I don't know the people who refuse. I know people who have a preference and go to one store for. Everyone's got their grocery store that they go to for their main things. And then they have all the other grocery stores that they go to for the other items. So yes, I know people who Schnucks is their main grocery store. They go to Dierbergs for this, Trader Joe's for this, and Whole Foods for this, Aldi's for this. And then there are people who...
That's interesting.
Yeah, Schnucks
because when I go to the
main.
store, just whatever I'm there for, if I need, I'm getting it all there. Unless they don't have it.
However, you are shopping for you. It's
That's
different when you're shopping for a family. When you've got kids, you've got teenagers, you've got a spouse, whatever it may be.
You calling me a loser?
Yes. Oh. Pets, a home. I actually, a lot of Costco shoppers too, right? We'll do Costco and then fill in at Schnucks or Dierbergs. I think the price wars are where it's at. People like to price compare.
You know what? One of the great stories that came out of this is... there is the possibility that Schnucks expands to Chicago and maybe Denver, maybe Dallas. It's written about in KMOX.com, and you can go read all about it. But maybe this should be more of a national chain. Get us out there,
I think so.
People be like, where'd that come from?
Because I've gone to Florida, and you talk about your grocery store.
Publix.
Well, they have Publix, they have Winn-Dixie, but then I say something about Schnucks, and people who aren't from here always go, "What's a Schnuck?" And I'm
it's a family
grocery store.
Yeah.
Schnucks. And it sounds normal to us, but if you aren't from here, you don't know what a Schnuck is.
Well, it's a person.
Yeah. So I think we should expand.
It's a group of people.
Kroger, isn't that what they're doing in Chicago? It's like Schnucks is Yeah,
I think
over
they
at
are.
Kroger or something.
Up there, it's like they have Jewel Osco, and they used to have Dominic's, but Dominic's, I don't know if it's completely gone away everywhere, but that used to be the other store. It's called Jewel Osco, but people up there call it the Jewels.
Have you ever been to a
Hey, I'm going to the Jewels.
Piggly Wiggly?
No. Have you been to a Hy-Vee?
I don't know.
There's one in Bloomington, Illinois.
Really?
Yeah. I've always thought about going in there, seeing if Kurt Warner's hanging out.
I like Publix because they have an X. Publix, don't they?
You have weird tastes.
Thanks.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. Jay Greenberg is in to arrest us. He's next on KMOX.
At Neovitin, our goal is to create safe, dependable multivitamins to support your everyday nutrition when you need it most. That's why Dr. Abicki formulated Neovitin Original Formula Multivitamin with 20 daily ingredients, including B vitamins for energy support, vitamin C for immune support, and our 4-ingredient proprietary blend that you won't find in any other multivitamin. With a 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality nutritional support with Neovitin. And as always, a portion of the proceeds from the sale of Neovitin Original Formula Multivitamin are donated to the Rubicki Foundation to support pancreatic cancer research. That's nutritional support you can feel good about. Support your best life today with Neovitin Original Formula Multivitamin, available at your local Deerbergs, Schnucks, select independent pharmacies, and online with our easy-to-use monthly subscription at neovitin.com. That's neovitin.com. Neovitin.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
What if you do business without busy work? With Ramp, you can. Ramp is the future of finance with smart automation, corporate cards, and spend management. Just imagine, no more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts. No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea. With smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/finance. That's ramp.com/finance to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/finance.
If your home or business just isn't giving you the joy it once did, it's time for a refresh. Contact your local CertaPro painters and put the power of pro to work for you. That's CertaPro's power of doing the job right, on time and on budget. The power of proven experts with the skills to refresh, rejuvenate, and reinvigorate your home or business. Get your project started today at CertaPro.com. The power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
At 12:30, we've got some clouds, 57 degrees downtown at the Arch. In March, the U.S. economy created 236,000 new net jobs, about in line with analysts' expectations. It shows hiring is declining, though unemployment went down 0.1% to 3.5%. Bankrate.com's Mark Hamrick looks at the underlying numbers, the details in the numbers.
More people were working and looking for work last month, boosting labor force participation. This helps to address the long-running mismatch of supply and demand for labor as job openings decline. Wage growth is cooling, with average hourly earnings up 4.2% over the past year, marking some further easing of inflation pressure.
Tennessee Republicans have expelled 2 Democratic lawmakers from the state legislature for their role in a protest calling for more gun control. County commissions in each of the expelled lawmakers' districts will now choose temporary replacements until a special election is held. The spring real estate surge is early this year across the country. That's according to Andrea Sheridan, president of the Missouri Association of Realtors.
So what we're seeing here in Missouri is another insurgence of houses selling in 24 to 48 hours. And when homes are priced correctly, they're seeing multiple offers.
And right now we've got some road construction to watch out for in the right lane of Illinois 3 going north at Palmer Road. We've also got some moving road work on 364 East at Arena Parkway, St. Charles area. The left lane is closed. This afternoon, high between 60 and 64 degrees, mix of clouds and sun. Tonight, little less cold, the low 40. For tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a high 66. At the moment, it's 57 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
brought to you by Visit Missouri. What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. No matter how you like to get away, Missouri is filled with beautiful destinations and incredible experiences for you to explore. Discover the possibilities at visitmo.com.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Bertie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
The check engine light is on in Washington, but politicians keep driving the cars if nothing is happening. There it is again. It's Social Security. A new government report says the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out by the year 2035. If that happens, it would cause all beneficiaries to take more than a 20% cut to their benefits. What does that mean for you? When should you start taking benefits? And how can you get every dollar of Social Security you're entitled to? The team at Heisey Advisory Group has been helping families optimize their Social Security benefits for over 17 years, and they can do the same for you. Give them a call, 314-328-4400, to schedule your visit with one of the advisors at Heisey Advisory Group. Again, that's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor, and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. AEWM and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC are not affiliated companies. Our firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Tonight, it's the Cards and Brewers. Emeren Total Access 6:15. First pitch 7:10.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar, and you're listening to the voice of Cardinals, KMOX.
Amy Marks Coors. All right. It's enough of you. She's giving me a hard.
We have
Amy
our
Marks
best
Coors.
friends in the studio.
I know.
And I just want them to know
That I was bad at math, and I couldn't go out for recess because I couldn't finish the times tables test. I know. All right, leave me alone. Amy Marks Coors and Chris Ranji on KMOX. We are joined in studio by special agents in charge of the St. Louis field office of the FBI, Jay Greenberg, and the best hair in St. Louis, Rebecca Wu. She's here.
right.
So, Jay, yesterday we began the Citizens Academy, which is a thing that I just learned about recently from you guys. And it's an effort to teach people who are invited to it. I was invited, Amy. People who were invited to learn more about the FBI and hopefully develop a better relationship among the public.
Yeah, as always, great to be here with you. Thank you so much. Citizens Academy, which we have as an annual program, we did kick off last night. Chris, we're happy to have you in the class to get some more knowledge out there. It is a place where we take leaders in the community, whether they're social leaders, media leaders, community leaders, business leaders, and really just give them an exposure to the FBI. Try to demystify it as much as we can at an unclassified level and push awareness out about the breadth of our mission, the need for our diversity, so that we can get that out and then hopefully have better service to the entire community.
What do you think people need to know about the FBI? And we talked about, we all introduced ourselves, everybody in the class or in the session introduced themselves, and everybody talked about why they're there, what they hope to get out of it. And I said, I think that the organization has gotten a really bad rap in the last few years. And a lot of it is very much undeserved. And I think that people need to know more about what the FBI does. And I don't know if we really know. It sounds cool. You watch TV, you see a movie, FBI agent, right? But I don't think people really know what you do.
Sure. So, we've been around since 1908. That's about how many years? I won't ask you.
Don't ask
you
me
to do
about
that.
it. 100.
Good. That's good
Come
enough.
on.
Yeah. About 115.
Damn.
115. He was saying 15 was on the tip of his lips. We hire a diverse set of skills. You don't have to be a math major to be an FBI agent, but we do hire them. You can be an engineer, you can be a cop. Our broad mandate, it spans everything: counterterrorism, counterintelligence. We're in all criminal violations, cyber. We're in every major city in the nation and most small cities as well. So we have a national footprint. We have an international footprint. It's a tremendous place to work. It's a tremendous place to serve your country as a calling and an opportunity. And so we'll continue to talk about the themes of diversity and why that's important in law enforcement, local, state, national level, international level, diversity of thought, diversity of background, diversity of experience, because together, when we take teams of really smart people with different backgrounds, they will solve problems faster and with a better outcome because they approach it differently together.
One of the things you talked about last night was it also seems like when you use the word diversity, now half the people get really angry about that. And what we talk about, what does it matter? Just the best people should get the jobs. It shouldn't matter what your background is, what you look like, where you're from. Why is it important, though, for law enforcement to have diversity in it?
Sure. So there's a lot of reasons. The quick ones I'll try to boil down. The first thing people think about when we talk about diversity is diversity of race, right? So we think and that's true. We do need to look like the communities we serve, but we also need diversity of background, because if we're trying to get to the bottom of a public corruption investigation, or somebody is planting bombs around a city, or somebody is threatening a community with violent crime, we need the community to come forward with information. So it's important that we look like the community we serve, so that whoever you see there in law enforcement, the community, is comfortable approaching us and giving us information that will advance the investigations. But diversity also goes to, we need people who are great at accounting so they can trace through money that's been stolen and taken, shipped somewhere else. We need people who have strong technical skills so that we can defeat anonymity that comes on the dark web, or the cyber algorithms that are out there that are working through bots to victimize tens of millions of people at the same time across the United States. And then we need folks from the military and from law enforcement who have specific tactical experience they bring, so that we can safely execute our search and arrest missions. So there's when we say diversity, we really do mean the broadest explanation of diversity.
We were joking before we went on air. I was talking about how I need an FBI hat, like the old school kind you see in the
yellow lettering.
The Tom Clancy novels and the Windbreakers, and how they're so iconic, and laughing about it, but also like being quite serious that they are iconic. They do stand for something in the American psyche. And I guess thinking back on the FBI, the more we've talked, the more I realize the scope of what the FBI does and how it keeps it's not just these big, sexy investigations that you would hear about in the movies. It's also being part of our auto theft task force right here in St. Louis, helping making our city streets safer. So with that in mind, what do you think is a common misperception that the public has of the FBI? Because in my head, I think of the Windbreakers. I think of this larger than life, investigation, the big stories, but not really involved in every day. But you guys really are on the streets of St. Louis, keeping us safer as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the common misperceptions is that there's tension between different levels of law enforcement. There's really not. Some of my best partners here are our local partners, our state partners, other partners from DEA, ATF, Marshals, HSI, all these different acronyms of federal, state, local partnerships out there. But we do have such a breadth of mission that we're also constantly talking to corporate leaders across the area about the cyber threat and the threat that China poses of stealing intellectual property. So, anything you can think about that is either a threat to our normal day-to-day life, whether it's hateful speech and people are afraid to go to school, or because of bomb threats. The FBI is involved in some form or fashion in addressing every single threat to our life in concert with local partners, corporate partners, academia, industry. So, we really are looking for the right kind of people to join our ranks because we have such a broad mission set. You might start out working cyber investigations that trace you to somebody in a country where we have to go with a foreign partner or another national partner to actually reach out and touch somebody in that country. And then you can come to something as local as violent crime and never leave the city limits and make a huge contribution to making people safe and helping life really thrive here.
Speaking of threats, we had, after the Nashville school shooting, we had threats here locally, and I think we talked about that last week. But to reiterate for people who may have missed that conversation, a lot of times the threats that are phoned into local schools aren't coming from here. They're coming from either a different state or in a lot of cases, a different country.
That's right.
Which is fascinating to me. Never even thought about it.
Right. And law enforcement is having to respond each and every time. So, our partners from the state level authorities, Missouri State Highway Patrol, and all of the small and medium-sized local departments were flooding towards the west side of St. Louis last week to respond to those threats. At the same time, we're collecting evidence from each one of them, packaging it, looking at, St. Louis is not in a vacuum here. Cities across the nation are experiencing an uptick in hoax threats. Many of them are local, and where they are local and somebody is domestic here in the United States anywhere, we or a local partner will wind up getting in touch with them and stopping that action, right? But there are calls coming in from other countries as well, and that's where it's important that we're able to leverage our international partnerships in the 80 or so countries where we sit to work with locals and get that threat stream to stop as well.
Where are most of them coming from if they're overseas threats?
Most is hard, right? Because then we're back to math, right? We promised we were going to avoid math today, but I will say that there's a huge number of the threats that we're experiencing inbound that are resolving outside of what we're seeing every day, and we just have to sort of figure out what to do about that and how.
Also, speaking of the FBI and how, like you said, involved in so many cases that do affect us day to day. If I were a victim of identity theft, I would reach out to the FBI, correct? What was it? The stolen cards on the phone, or where they get all your passwords, and it's crazy how that type of crime, which is beyond me, beyond my pay grade. But if that were to happen, I would have to reach out to the FBI, someone who could actually help fight this type of crime.
That's right. I cut my teeth as a new agent on working unemployment insurance fraud, where somebody was just going in and finding a way to get unemployment benefits that belonged to somebody else's Social Security number and having them sent to her, and chased her down as a lifelong fraudster and got her charged and thrown in jail for 4 or 5 years, and got that activity stopped. But have also worked, there's people filing tax returns in other people's Social Security numbers and taking their refunds, or all the way to elder fraud, convincing sort of our lonely, isolated, elderly population that they should sign over their life savings because they're in line to get this huge lottery windfall from overseas, but you have to pay the $100,000 tax up front, or there's a sheriff who's got an arrest warrant for you, and if you don't pay $100 on a gift card, we're going to come out and arrest you. All of those things accrue to these larger groups, and we're working constantly with state and local partners. So you can call those into 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can report them at ic3.gov on the web or tips.fbi.gov. Any of those avenues, in addition to calling your local department, will have our agents put eyes on and see if it ties into something larger where it might make sense for us to take a big action.
Jay Greenberg, Special Agent in Charge, St. Louis Field Office of the FBI, with us here in studio. And we got into this conversation last night during the session about catalytic converters, and I think somebody asked a question about it. And I was also very stunned to find out that a lot of these operations are sophisticated to the point where they are also not originating here, that they are originating overseas, and people here are being used. It didn't even occur to me that that's what was going on.
Yeah, I think the question there that brought up that conversation was, how does the FBI define transnational organized crime, and what are you doing about it? And we talked about drugs flowing from other countries here and how they're victimizing huge, diverse swaths of our population all over the nation, leading to overdose deaths, leading to huge problem sets that we're working with DEA. DEA is a huge leader on that for the nation, and they're eminently professional, great organization. We love working with them. But there's also different groups that have installed skimmers on ATM machines, and they're getting your PIN, and then they're emptying bank accounts, and they're putting all that money together and shipping it back to accounts overseas. All this happening digitally, right down to a catalytic converter getting cut out of a huge number of cars, getting all that palletized, boxed up, and shipped overseas because there's precious metals in there, and that's a very lucrative organized crime scheme. So, a big, diverse set of threats out there.
I'm just fascinated by how somebody in, say, Eastern Europe can get in touch with a local here in St. Louis, how that line of communication works, and then how the operation works, that it all gets sent back over to Europe.
Well, it's probably been a long time since anybody's looked for a job, right? But we sort of laugh, right? It's never what you know. It's always who you know. And we see that on the criminal side, right? Social networking is very powerful, just like it is when you're in the job market and you're looking for something. You can cold drop your resume on the web and hope you get a call, or you can find somebody there at that company where you really want to be and get an invitation to come in and talk to them about what some opportunities are and let them get to know you. We see the same thing developing just with a nefarious purpose as well from criminal schemes.
That is Jay Greenberg with us. We appreciate your time as always. And before we say goodbye here, right before we started this interview, Amy committed a federal crime.
No, it was a hypothetical.
But you offered a federal agent a bribe.
Okay. What I accidentally said was that I was like, wow, I would love to donate to your favorite charity if you dishonorably discharge Ranji from the Citizens Academy.
That's a bribe.
It was like a funny joke. And then Ranji's like, oh, that's illegal. And Jay was like, oh, kind of is. And so
yeah, what statute does that violate?
That's 18 USC 201's federal codes, bribery. We talked a little bit about it. I think it was probably a miscommunication. I may not have heard it quite that directly.
That's right. I didn't. And it's not like you can go back and listen to this. This is live.
Yeah.
You definitely can.
On the Odyssey app, you can. You can rewind it.
Don't think
Download
so.
the Odyssey app. You can listen to interviews live as they happen and go back and catch what you missed.
Anyway, it'd be
Amy
a real
bribing
shame.
a federal
It'd be
official.
a real shame if you got kicked out dishonorably from the FBI Citizens.
Now, I think what Amy meant was on advice of counsel. I don't remember exactly what I said. I think that's what she meant.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not here to talk about the past.
okay. That was very suggestive on your part. Like you didn't say it, but you said it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Did you bring cuffs?
I always bring cuffs.
All right. Well, see ya, Amy.
Okay.
All right. Jay Greenberg, special agent in charge of the St. Louis field office of the FBI. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Have a good weekend.
That is Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. I'm with a felon. You're listening to KMOX.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji here.
Join us Tuesday, April 18th at the Center of Creative Arts as KMOX presents a conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett.
Major will be there to sign his new book, The Big Truth.
You can pre-purchase your copy at Left Bank Books or the night of the event.
A conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, Tuesday, April 18th. The event is free. You do need to reserve your spot, though. For more information and reservations, KMOX.com/events.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com. Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsace.hardware.com.
Katie Collier, owner of Katie's Pizza, turned a Kickstarter campaign into a pizza legacy. She shares her story on our latest podcast, PNC C-Speak, the language of executives. During COVID, Katie's Pizza continued to beat the odds, creating a thriving frozen food business and now working on a third location. PNC C-Speak shares the stories and innovative approaches of successful business leaders to give you ideas that spark growth in your business. Listen today at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
The St. Louis City SC Visa credit card from Together Credit Union, only available here, offers fan perks and a balanced transfer offer of 0% APR for 12 months on transfers now to April 30th. Go to togethercu.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
Countdown to Earth Day. Just 15 days to go. To increase gas mileage, keep tires inflated to the correct pressure and remove heavy items like golf clubs from your trunk. When we each share one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Prepare an emergency kit, sign up for local alerts, and make a family communications plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
More Amy, more Chris. What is this weird show? The Show on KMOX.
We almost done here, Amy. And since we are wrapping things up, 2 things to let you know about. One, the Pasandwich Pascandal.
Yep, the Pasandwich Pascandal.
Next week, we do expect to have the 4 finalists for the Pasandwich Pascandal runoff, because we're having an election next week. Mom's Deli, Blue City Deli, LeGrand's, and Paschetti's, which won the original Sandwich Madness tournament. Next week, we're having a runoff with those 4 because there may have been some irregularities in the voting. So we're going to take care of that.
Okay, we're not saying that. We're just asking questions.
We're just asking questions. We just want people to be happy. So there will be a runoff next week, and we expect it to be a fun time, and we'll be talking to people from the sandwich places. Also, KMOX.com/events. Get your tickets immediately for the conversation with Major Garrett at the Center of Creative Arts. COCA, which is in U City. It's right by that roundabout, pretty close to the roundabout in U City off Delmar, 6880 Washington. We will be there with Major Garrett, who is signing copies of his book, The Big Truth. You can buy copies of that book there from Left Bank Books. They'll be supplying some, or you can bring your copy that you get from Left Bank and it's all free. But what you need you to do, KMOX.com/events and RSVP for us. Tell us how many of you are coming.
Yes, so we have a head count, and it's filling up. Like it's filling up pretty quickly. So get your RSVPs in today. It's Tuesday, April 18th at 7:00. The Conversation with Major Garrett in town in the flesh. Tuesday, April 18th.
He'll be taking questions from the crowd, talking to you, signing the book. It's going to be a really, really fun night. Looking forward to having him in town.
A grand old time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, go to at the show KMOX on Twitter and vote in our grand draft. We had a grand. You'll see what we're talking about when you go look at it. It was stupid, but I think we had a really nice time, didn't we, Amy?
I had a great time.
The roided up Amy Marks scores is she's on the come down now because it's all left her system. But she and I will stick around with the Dave Glover Show, which is coming up next. Dave and Kevin and Rachel and Andrew, they are all here. They are ready. We are ready. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you next week on KMOX.